Padang on the bang down the day in the Jalun by Okija Conte. Okida, the Napun by the Vine Bullinga, would the rear of Okija Conte. So go just the Dictor and Cotarang, Padang, I and Jel by Okija. Okida, the Nakim ran for the woman with Padang, would the rear of Okija Conte. Down when the vine now, did I in the Jalun by Okija Conte? Because of the now one day with the vine Bolija, when they are of Joe, Okija Conte. Because of the Victor and Cotarang, Padang, I jail by Okija Conte. Okija, the Nakim ran for the woman with Padang, when they are of Joe, Okija Conte. Yarpio the morning, I call it Vicky and Vivi at the Dongo. We all look and gay, but I'm not young by Argo. You're quite a kid in con your Pandang, like the conway. Yarpio the morning, I yell a gel called Vicky at the Dongo. We all look and gay, but I'm not young by Argo. You're quite a kid in con your Padang, like the conta. We did a trouble, Okija Conte. Okida, the Victor and Cotarang, Padang, I will jail by Okija. Okida, the Makim ran for the woman with Padang, would did a trouble, Okija Conte.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me see the video.
Yare, the bar, the well, young pan, I let it put a doctor. I am to go, 20 go, no, I don't give a Jogatanya. I go to Yariamo, you will get Jogatanya. I go to Yariamo, you will get Jogatanya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please kindly do me a favor by sharing the video. And if anybody is going to be interested in participating in this particular program, this particular topic, you are highly welcome in advance. And I will be sharing the link, so anyone who might want to contribute to the program can actually join me. Thank you very much, and please share the video with your friends and your group that you interact with, so that we can actually build a number of audience, so that we can come and analyze this particular development on the ground. This is also very important for all of us as South Sudanese. We should all be concerned, and it is our collective responsibility and obligation to make sure we follow up with the any political development on the ground as to be brought to the public attention for further evaluation or analysis. This is what this program is about. It's about Johnson Olony. Some of you might have actually read the news or listened to the radio Tamazuch So very shortly, I will bring it to your attention. So please continue to share the video. And if you feel interested to be part of this program, do not hesitate to send me your request. Thank you very much. Let me continue to play the music for now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. This is Billy Luke. I'm here to bring this particular program to your attention today. One of the breaking news that you have just seen on my personal page on Facebook is all about Johnson Olony gearing up to join the government of South Sudan, as is reported on the radio to Mazuch. So I would like to bring to you his interview with the radio Tamazuch, and then from there we will be analyzing the whole interview with the radio Tamazuch. So this is what this particular program is all about. So if anyone is actually interested to be part of the program, do not hesitate to join me on the studio. Thank you very much. Continue to share the video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and play the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony and Radio Tamazuch. Let me find the video for you so I can play it. And then you have to listen to it, and then you will continue to analyze in your own way. So I will not say anything yet until I read out some of the articles that I have with me as well. So stay tuned. Thank you for your patience. Continue to share the video. That was me, ladies All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to Jing Kodang Media. I would like to start playing the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony from Radio Tamazuch. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your attendance, and thank you for your cooperation in sharing the video with your friend and other group where you interact with your community, society, or any other friend that you interact on a certain page or groups. I appreciate that you might have shared the video. Right now, I would like to start playing the program, and I do apologize a little bit for delaying the program, and thank you for your patience. Right now, I'm going to start playing the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony, and then after that, I will read out some of the articles that are already published on other mass media pertaining to the same interview of Gerald Johnson Olony. So this is a very interesting development on the ground, and it is actually creating some confusing atmosphere in McGuinness camp, where the two generals just came together some months ago, and few days ago they proposed to actually convene a general assembly in McGuinness camp. Unfortunately, it appears that Gerald Johnson Olony is about to defect, or there might be some disagreement going on, but it is not yet being opposed. So this could be some sign of, fragmentation going on in McGuinness camp. So some of you can attest to that based on how you analyze the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony. So there is a big disagreement. However, it remains to be politically concealed at the moment, but it is up to you those who are politically informed to be able to critically analyze and realize the underlying political differences arising in McGinn's camp. So this is exactly what this program is all about, and this is what I want to bring to your attention. So thank you very much. And for those of you who would feel interested to join me in the program, please do not hesitate to request me, and I will kindly share the link with you. So stay tuned and let me play the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony from Radio Tamazish.
يا جنرال جونسون طيب انتوا قلتوا ما دارين
جنرال جونسون
let me begin it from the start. I think that was in the middle of the interview, but let me start it from the beginning. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, and please bear with me.
هو أحد القيادات البارزة في مجموعة كيدغون. زي ما احنا متابعين الحراك، زي ما احنا متابعين المشاكل الدائر في المجانس الأيامات الفات، أكيد في الحوار ده احنا حنسلط الضوء على كل الحراك الدائر، كل المستجدات اللي داخل مجموعة كيدغون. إذن المؤتمر اللي تم إعلانه يوم 30 اللي جاي برضه احنا حنتكلم عنه، وكمان حنشوف شنو الخطط القادمة لمجموعة كيدغون برئاسة الجنرال قرويج دول. إذا مستمعينا معا نتابع هذا الحوار.
ما في جلسة احنا كنا دايرين الناس فهمنا ونقول السلام ما ماشي في باله. سو انا كنا دايرين نفعل الرئيس فكير وكنا جنب كذا ما يمشي في باله. عشان انا قاعد في قاعده بين ايامنا ودون مدارس ودون حاجه ودون انا كمان ايطاليا في جوبا وما قاعد اتكلم معنا، ما قاعد اتصل معنا، ونحن كنا ندفع سلام. سو عشان هذا يد السلام من جديد القياده ناقص، عشان ما نقدر نخش كمان انا لازم اسجل جيش. وفي النهايه انا اعلنا قلنا نعمل نجيب سلام ونتكلم مع رئيس رانا كثير نواصل بتدخل السودان. سو انا في بعضنا من اعلان بدور جاء جنة ودينا دافعنا نفوذنا تعرف الان ومن قاعد جمعنا في مالنا قاعدين فيه انا لسه قاعد دافع نفوذنا الان موجود عندنا السلام. يجي انا قاعد نقول عشان شعب السودان كله شعب السودان ويكون في صوره انا مع سلام.
نعم.
ما يقول السكرتير انا جاني اعتذر من السودان. الساخنه.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know if the volume is clear and if the volume is loud enough so I can be able to know that. Give me a sum up. So I have to know that. Welcome, Daniel Matektek. I'm just playing the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony from Radio Tamazish. So welcome and join me in the studio. But ladies and gentlemen, please give me a sum up if you can hear the interview very clearly and loudly. Thank you. I can see the sum up there. Thank you. Let me go ahead and play it. I think the interview is about 14 minutes. So bear with us and continue to listen to it. Unfortunately, for those of you who don't understand Arabic, but this is a very simple Arabic anyway. It's not very complicated for some of you to understand it. So thank you.
في مناطق بتاعه وبعد كده نحن كله في الانتخابات. لو بتاعنا كنا بنسال لو نانا علينا المفروض ما عشان نفعل الرئيس بتاعنا سافكي.
طيب يا جنرال جونسون يا ما فات كان في مشاكل هناك في البيجينز، قدرنا نشوف اخر التطورات شنو؟
المشاكل وقف ولا لسه؟
ولا المشاكل في مدينة زي ما بدي في فوسات ما أنا كافي غور بتاعنا معرض بتاعنا قرويبيا هم بدي بيعجمونا ونحن بدافع عن نفوسنا هذا هم قاعدين في المعرض بتاعنا ونحن قاعدين في المعرض بتاعنا ما قاعد يتكلم معهم هم بس بيعملوا دعايات نحن بنعمل جون بكرة نعمل جون بعد بكرة يعملوا جون بكرة هم ما بدهم جون كمان هم قاعد يتكلموا ساكت لكن منا بدأ الشكل كان ساكت ما أنا ما كشنا له جون يوم واحد هم بدي بيعجمنا لكن هذا وضع كويس ما في وجه.
اوكي طيب زي ما قلت انتم مع السلام هل في مفاوضات حيتم بيناتكم مع الحكومه ولا هتنضموا للاتفاقيه ولا اللي هيحصل شنو بالضبط كده؟
يا انا ما اعرف يعني يكون في سلام جديد بس ده السلام اللي بده يراجعوا ما يجوز سلام جديد يعني سلام بده يراجعوا ويمزعوا كنا علينا طلبنا من الحكومه وطلبنا كيف سلنا ودي بجد وارث مبوت وارث جوكينو هم سلنا كاستو مدينه غانا ماو وقلنا له انا مع سلام انا لازم منتظر الحكومه بتاعنا في الجبهه انا لازم منتظره عشان انا نواصل مفاوضات الحكومه السودان.
بكلامك ده يعني انتم بديتوا مفاوضات مع الحكومه طالما سلفى ارسل لكم ناس من حكومه لخرطوم وانتم اجتمعتوا معاهم ده نشوف يعني في الاجتماعات بتاعكم مع وفد الحكومه ابرز الحاجات اللي انتم اتفقتوا عليهم شنو وكان راي الحكومه شنو؟
لا الحكومه بيقولوا في الناس كان داير سلام انا الحكومه ما داير سلام. الحكومه بيقولوا داير سلام لازم نواصل مفاوضات. يعني نقدر في المفاوضات ما في زي الناس انا دايرين كان نتكلم مع سلفى كيري عشان نسمع هو بيجينا في المجال ورجينا بخرطوم انا ما يجي كان نمشي سوريا ونمشي روميا ونمشي برا المفاوضات انتهت داخل بلدنا هنا طبعا انا بس جاي بس سلام راجع بس وانا بنتكلم ما بنجيب السياسه بنتكلم انا ساكت سوي يبقى كده من الان كان قلنا ما دارين سياسه فيه وانا ساكت بس
يا جنرال جونسون طيب انتوا قلتوا ما دارين اتفاقيه جديد نفس الاتفاقيه ده يمكن نفس الاتفاقيه اللي انتوا بديتوه ورئيس النائب الاول دكتور رياك مشار كمان بدا في تنفيذه مع الحكومه وما عجبكم انتوا قلتوا الاتفاقيه ما ماشي كويس وانت حسب بتقول انه انتوا دايرين تنفذوا الاتفاقيه شنو الاليات الجديده شنو الحاجه الجديده اللي انتوا جايين بيه عشان ما الاتفاقيه ينفذ بطريقه كويس؟
انا دايرينهم طبعا يمضوا كده الدكتور رياك كشف الجبهه و اكون جنوب غارده وقسم سلطه اليوم طبعا ضمن الناس الفجاره كاس الناس بيرسلوك وبعد عاملين بكره هذا سلطه لحاله كله زي ما انت تجي تجاري مع هذا سلطه المره بتاعه ونسيبه ونسيب الولد واخوانه كلهم سلطه بيجوا في يده براو سوينا سكبنا واخونا سي دي ار هو برضه كان فات زين وما ينضم الحكومه انا كلمت معه قلت له كان ناخذ الحكومه انا نجي نقول عشان نجي نتعرف نتعرف سالفه ليه يجي يقسم زي ده هو يبدو لنا ورئيس سالفه كيف ما بقول ليه تقسم السلطه تدل المره بتاعك وده تدل كده انتخب بكلامه وبتشوفنا انا قاعد نسوي بتشوفه وانا بنعمل بشوفه انا الميدان جيد خرجوا عشان جيد كله يلخبطوا جيد كله يكون جيد قومي وبعد كده ناس يجي تنزل بقى اشكال ثانيه كان في انتخابات بعدين وفي نقول الاخير الاول كيف ترتيبات الامن يعملوا وجيد يخرجوا لا فاهم ثاني
جنرال جونسون في كلام بيقول انه الحكومه قاعد يلعب دور كبير عشان انتوا تقوموا تنضموا لهم في الحكومه انت رايك شنو في الكلام ده؟ قلت في كلام ماشي تحت انه الحكومه قاعد يلعب دور كبير عشان ما يطلعكم من الاي او وتكونوا انتوا جزء مع الحكومه تنضموا للاس بي ال ام تحت قياده سلفى كير ميردي.
ايوه ده منو معايا ده انا زاد انا ايوه ما انا فيه قرميد وكان يصير وانا ماسك القطاع الاولى من المركز من الكويت من الكويت لا تجي انا ماسك تجايو يا مسؤول انا ايوه وتوم النبور يا ماسك لو كل ده مبلغ بتاعه فما في ايوه كان انا ايوه
يس انا قال انه حكومه قاعد يلعب دور بتاعه عشان انتم تخلوا ايوه تنضموا لهم يعني انتم تكونوا اسفل تحت قياده بتاع سلفى كير مياردي ما تكونوا ايوه ثاني في كلام زي ده؟
كان الكلام ده انه تجربه عم يعملوا تجربه انتاج ما انا وين ما انا اسيري
اوكي
انا اسيري
اوكي
يا انا بدي دوريات ده ويدو ولا بقى انصاص كان ويا رسمي لكن ما تقدر ما يمكن تقدر تطلع زي لو ده تقدر تطلع لكن انا عندي بس انا جيش يقول انا ما جيت بدل
تمام. طيب
انا وساكت لكن انا جيت اقول انا مش انا بقول ما في
تمام. طيب جنرال جونسون، ده نشوف انتوا اعلنتوا هيكون في مؤتمر بتاع كيتغوان يوم 30. هل المؤتمر بيكون غايم؟ وزي ما احنا متابعين الاجواء عندكم هناك لسه ملتحف، كل مره في هجمات، فهل المؤتمر هيكون قايم في نفس المكان وفي نفس الزمان؟
أمبارح زيادة كل بتاع الله والقار في كيتغوان أنا قانا وكلمنا مع رئيس أنا قلوي ونمو يبدأوا كنا عملنا إلى عند كريشن بتاع كيتغوان نحن قلنا أنا فاكر نحن بس كنا بلغة عسكرية ما بين لغة سياسي أي سياسي في البلد في وين ما عنده قضية بس دايرة سلطة بتاع براو لكن أنا دايرة سلطة بتاع الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان كله في اللغة في مجال وفي أي يبروه ما أنا دايرة كلهم يكونوا في صورة يكون في مرايا لكن السياسي البلد في مرة دايرة سلطة بتاع براو أنا ربما قلنا الشيرمان بتاعنا قبل درويش ولا لا مؤتمر ده يجيبوه المؤتمر ده يوجبه ونحن نشوف زي ما قلنا ان انا تعاملنا سلام ودار السلام هذا ما تعالى سلام كلام يقولون الملوم بجي والناس توم بجي والناس تو وناس وزار بجي هذا مناطق منانا وبارك ونلو جماعه ما يجينا ملوم ده رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم توم ده رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وريان مشي رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وناس الباقي ناس صار سياسة ده رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لكن نحن اللغة الجالية نحن ما نبتكر نحن نحن بس كيف ناس يجي السلام يجي قبله في ميدان ما يجي خرجوا وبعد كده يجي كل بدم يجي كل شيء شاب ونشوف المشكلة بدمنا نعم نشوف الورق عليه هاي سو ملون كان يجي كان يجي ما سلفا كده في باغداد ما في كده في باغداد سيم كاس توماس كان ما سلفا في أرجع جامي في سوية كده يسافر هناك يصير وزار كمان كان داير شاكل كان يمشي الجيب بتاع يتم تاخذ بداو كان يمشي كان لكن في بلد شنو كينغدم ما لنا يسال يكون فوقه انا متفق معكم كان هذا مش ما دايرين يقول نخلق الجديد ونخلق ثاني نخلق ثاني ده هذا امن ساكت
يبقى جنرال جونسون، يبقى انتم ما تشاورتوا من البدايه مع جنرال قرويج ولا حاصل شنو؟ لانه اوريدي سايمون قرويج ادى دعوات لجنرالات اللي هو ناس بول مالون وناس ستيفن بوي تقريبا وعدد من جنرالات اللي انت ذكرتهم. ليه من البدايه انتم اتفقتوا ما يتم دعوتهم من البدايه؟
نعم ما اتفقنا هنا مبارك بدو جينا قالنا قلنا له في كلام شفنا في النت ما انا كلام اصلا ما بقال كلامنا عملناه يوم ده ديكريشن عملناه في الجوال ما بقال معه لان في البوي يوم ده ما كان يمشي داخلنا لو كانوا داخل جونسون ده بين ملونا لو كتاب بمشي كانوا داخل مع جونسون ما في حاجه تجيبوا لي كانوا بين ساعه غير تجيبوا مسيرتهم كان تجيبوا مسيرتهم انا ما شفنا اول لو كانوا مبارك وكلامنا مبارك عملت فوق
يصبح حسب كلامك ده ما في مؤتمر يوم 30
مؤتمر ما في
اوكي
البشيرين انه مش ثاني ما في مؤتمر
طيب يعني الخطوه بتاعتكم لقدام شنو؟ وشنو اللي ماشيين تعملوه عشان الاتفاقيه تنجح او يتنفذوا بعد ذاك انتم ترجعوا وتكونوا جزء منه؟
نعم الخطوه الاول انا قاعد بنتكلم مع ناس جوبا عشانهم يجيبوا معكم السودان وناس يعيدوا السلام كيف جينا خرجوا في الميدان وكيف جينا كل جينا بيومي وبعد كده رجعنا انا غير انا نطلب اللاكين في انا غير مزلفه انا بكون بنطالب بلاكين وصلت الدرجه انا بنفس معه خلاص يبداوا انا بنفس معه كان في شكل انا بكون انا مع سلفا اكو بكون انا مع رياض بعد كده ما اكون انا بنتفق مع حكومه بوادي على حكومه السودان أريد بتاعنا درويجوال ورجل دار السلام طبعا وفي درجات الجماعة اللي بكتبوا في قلب في ميديا وبدي بزاف في النار ونحن ما بنعرف سو المؤتمر زي ما قلت لك المؤتمر اجلناه وبعد ما ترتيبات الامن يعملوا كله اللقب نفسه يكون جد اليومي. بعد كده انا بدات الجبهه بنطالب كان في سينار غير من الرياض انا بطالب من الرياض سلطه التسم يوم ده غدا والدفاع المره بتاعه وده ودي اللي بطلوا انا بنفسي ما في بس طبعا ما في ما اقدر سلطه هي سلطه ياكل انا كده ما كنت
اوكي طيب سيد جنرال ان كيس مثلا الحكومه يعني ما التزم وما نفذ الترتيبات الامنيه وده هو المشكله بتاعكم اللي انتم دائما بتتكلموا عنه انه الترتيبات الامنيه لسه ما تم تنفيذه، الجيش ما خرجون وكده، وحكومه وعدكم انه الحاجات ده حيمشي ويتم. ان كيس مثلا هم ما نفذوا الترتيبات الامنيه وما تم تخريج الجيش والحاجات ده كله، انتوا حتعملوا شنو؟
والله شوف كذا كل لسه ما نفذ البرنامج ده كله ما نفذه. نحن بننتظر بنقعد بنقول للحكومه انتوا واقفين معاكم ورجال جيت في مالهم ونحن بنقعد في مالهم انا عشان نشوف السودان جنوب السودان ماشي وين. يا وفي وفاهم انا ما بنشاكل عشان الحكومه ما ابغى عشان يفعل عشان نشاكل السودان طبعا ما منا دمرت فينا كنا صغار انا كشرت فينا عمري 13 سنه كنا قاعد نشاكل هذا الليله الحكومه كان ما قدر نفذ الكلام ده. نحن بننتظر مع حكومه يجيب كمان ما هم بيصار نفوذهم ليس لا ما بنفذهم والشعب بتاع الجنوب كله شعب المواطنين كله ما بيصار لكن انا بنعمل قدر بتاعنا طبعا نحن سلام طبعا انا في السودان في الجنوب ما دار سلام معلش ده بقول لك كيف ما بتاعهم.
طيب ومشاكلكم مع دكتور رياض مشار يعني هيستمر كده لمتين؟ كل مره هم هيهاجموكم وانتوا هتردوا، كل مره يحصل مشاكل. ما فكرتوا انه تضعوا حل للمشاكل اللي قاعد يحصل دائما بيناتكم دكتور مشار؟
تعرف الناس اللي ساكنين ده ساكن في كلهم السكينه عندهم ده كانوا مثلا عندهم ده يا ده ما جاء هذا انا ما ادري شاكله انا بشوف ده ولا هذيك ورجع عليه وده بتاعي انا ما ادري شاكله كان ادري شاكله ساعتين انا ما بتم امام ساعتين ما بتم امام اي سو انا كان نقول يا جماعه ما يشاكلوا هذا نمو ثاني سو هم بفهم شغله بجيب كمان.
اوكي تمام شكرا جنرال.
لا مستمعينا في كل مكان بكده بنكون وصلنا معكم لنهاية حوار مع جنرال جونسون أولاني. أكيد هو قدر يلمس جوانب كثيرة من التساؤلات خاصة الدائرة في أذهان الكثير من الناس. لحد ما نتقابل ثاني في حلقة جديدة مع شخصية ثانية عن قضية جديدة. لحد الوقت ده دائما بقول لكم تقبلوا تحياتي مقرونة بتحايا الفريق العامل. إلى اللقاء.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have listened to the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony from Radio Tamazic. You have heard from the audio of Gerald Johnson Olony on Radio Tamazic. You have heard from that intelligent lady how she had actually interrogated or interviewed Gerald Johnson Olony. I like the way she has actually grilled Gerald Johnson Olony. She was very smart and intelligent in the way she presented her question to Gerald Johnson Olony. Briefly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to summarize the content of the interview that is published on Nyamilipedia. Briefly, I would like to read it to you, so bear with me. The military leaders of Kiriguang Declaration are ready to join President Kiir government and has politicians led by Honorable Henry Odwar and others to find their own means to fight their war to dispose President Salva Kiir from power if they wish to claim their seat through the barrel of gun. That was a statement by Gerald Johnson Olony. Let me continue reading it. In an interview with Radio Tamazic, Lieutenant General Johnson Olony announced that the military leaders have suspended Kitgwang leadership conference that was to be organized in Magenis until further notice. And instead, they call on President Salva Kiir to send his delegation to Meganis to negotiate their reintegration into the army. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a statement of Gerald Johnson Olony according to his interview on Radio Tamazit. So this is a summary of his own interview. So the main content of his interview is what I want to read to you from the scripture published on the Nyamilepedia. So you have heard it from what I just read. In an interview with Radio Tamazit, Lieutenant General Johnson Olony announced that the military leaders have suspended Kidguang Leadership Conference that was to be organized in Meganis until further notice, and instead they call on President Salva Kiir to send his delegation to Meganis to negotiate their reintegration into the army. So that means it was a few days ago that General Garwidwal and General Johnson Olony proposed a conference to be convened in Meganis. Unfortunately, they abruptly canceled that. They postponed it, and then they made a phone call to Juba, South Sudan, calling for the dispatch of the delegate from the government of South Sudan to go and meet the military rank in Meganis camp. So this is something that is surprising to all of us, and that is why we want to bring it to your attention. Why it just happened abruptly. It just happened all of a sudden. What is it that is going on? That is a question that we need to analyze further. So let me continue to read the article in full. This is Gerald Johnson Olony in his own word, according to the interview or content of his own interview. We told our chairman yesterday that this conference should be suspended and we follow the route of peace implementation. You see, they are actually trying to say that they are committed to the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement. But it was a few months ago that these two generals defected from their own commander-in-chief under the leadership of His Excellency First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, and then they formed their own movement, complaining against lack of security arrangement, which I believe fundamentally from the very beginning that is not the case. The issue here being used for political excuses is not about security arrangement. It is something to do with the power sharing. When Dr. Riek Machar resorted to appoint family members into the key positions that were awarded to the SPLMIO leadership. So that is what angered most of his military generals to defect from Dr. Riek Machar camp. So that is where the disagreement came about from the very beginning. For those of you who have been following the activities of the SPLMIO, that was the cause of the political rift. That was the cause of the political fragmentation among the military and political ranks and file of the SPLAIO leadership. It came as a result of Dr. Riek Machar awarding all the key positions to his immediate family members, his in-law and his own family members. So that is what triggered the defection of his second General Chief of Staff, John Kong Chua Ranley, to defect to the government because he was expecting himself to be appointed as the Minister of Defense. In addition, it was also the expectation of Gerald Garwidwal to be a possible candidate that would be appointed to become the Minister of Defense. Unfortunately, he could not actually beat it. That's why he failed to get it. The same thing, Gerald Johnson Olony was actually expecting himself to be appointed as the governor of Upper Nile State. Unfortunately, all of them failed. So this is what actually led to the defection of this military general. And that is what caused political and military disarray among the SPLA, SPLM-IO leadership, rank and file in military. So that is what I believe fundamentally from the very beginning, because I was very critical in following how the IO was actually carrying out their own internal affairs. So that is where the political rift begins. It had nothing to do with security arrangement. The issue of security arrangement is actually being used by the SPLM, SPLA-IO leadership as a political accuse. But in reality, it was about the position, which actually led to the disintegration, the final or eventual disintegration of the SPLA, SPLM-IO leadership. This is what we have seen today. Now, according to what is going on in McGuinness as we speak, Gerald Johnson Olony is not happy with the way or with the move taken by Gerald Gadwidwal in trying to involve some of the political confidence in the case of the former vice chairman under Dr. Riek Machar. Henry Odwar is about to be appointed as the political appointee or political representative for the McGuinness faction. Gerald Johnson Olony is not happy to see any appointment or involvement of any politician, including those of Honorable Duere Tut. Duere Tut is not in the interest of Gerald Johnson Olony to be appointed to any position. So Gerald Johnson Olony is not happy with Gerald Gadwidwal. So he doesn't want the move taken by Gerald Gadwidwal. So in my analysis, given the intelligent insight, the inside intelligence can attest to us or can actually manifest itself that something is not right. Gerald Johnson Olony is actually being squeezed from all sides, from the political and from the military side. You have seen the recent month or recent week that there was a military attack from the camp of Dr. Riek Machar against the forces of Gerald Gadwidwal. And in most cases, it is Gerald Johnson Olony that has a big number of forces. So Gerald Johnson Olony is trying to be smart here because he doesn't want to use his own people to fight that war. So he's actually trying to maneuver here militarily and politically in trying to maneuver out of this situation, because the situation is very complicated in McGuinness as we speak. In the recent week, there has been a consistent fighting, and there was even a contemplation of more attack coming. Should they have continued to go ahead with the convention of the conference that was recently proposed to take place on September the 30th of this month? So the reason why they canceled it is because they have a military intelligence telling them that there is a pending attack that is going to come, and they cannot be able to manage. They cannot be able to withstand any further military escalation that may come from either from Dr. Riek Machar camp or from the government side if they do not actually want to comply in joining the peace implementation. So given the recent military offensive between the camp of Dr. Riek Machar and the camp of Gerald Gadwidwal, it is very clear, according to those of you who have been in the military, the camp of McGuinness is actually running out of ammunition. They're running out of bullets, in other way around. So in that case, there is that calculation being made. So this is how we want to bring this analysis to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Gerald Johnson Olony is a very smart guy, and the way he's actually trying to use, manipulate the politician to sway them as if he's actually trying to. But this is a contingent strategy being designed by Gerald Johnson Olony to confuse the situation, and to avoid being attacked in the proposed September 30th conference in Magenis. So they want to play a game here, like what he did in 2015 in Malakal, when he was actually fooling the SSPDF that he has no intention to defect, but he actually luring all the ammunition, all the artillery, all the military hardware, and then he took them into the custody and declared defection eventually. So in this case, we want to bring this to your attention, ladies and gentlemen, that Gerald Johnson Olony is playing game. Otherwise, if Gerald Johnson Olony is actually being sincere in what he intends to do, then he cannot just make a sudden decision like that. We cannot trust him. We cannot believe what he's actually, what he intends to do, and whether the government of South Sudan is actually aware of this invitation to come to Magenis. Otherwise, as a citizen of Jiang Padang, who are well informed about the activities of Gerald Johnson Olony on the ground, and based on the visual intelligence we continue to gather in various ways, we don't know how we, make it available to the general public anyway, but we just want to say that hypothetically, so you have to understand that Gerald Johnson Olony is actually playing game with the government of South Sudan. Otherwise, this will actually attest to the claim made by Dr. Riek Machar faction that maybe some of the military generals in Magenis camp might have been bribed or might have been manipulated by some intelligent agent from the government of South Sudan. Maybe it could be if this is going to be true. But hypothetically, for me, I'm not an insider, but we are just here to analyze it from intelligent perspective, from security perspective, and from the political mindset and the game involved. So we know the mindset of Gerald Johnson Olony. Militarily or politically, we know who this guy is. So it was recently he lashed out at Dr. Lema Call. They lashed out at the politicians that want to grab power in their own faction and Gerald Garwidwal. So maybe Gerald Garwidwal is actually agree with the Dweretut, agree with the Henry Odwar to become the political representative of the Magenis faction. Gerald Johnson Olony is not in good terms with that political approach. He just wants this faction to be ruled by the military leaders, and he doesn't want the involvement of any politician. That is why he doesn't want any political manipulation from Dr. Lema Call. He doesn't want any political manipulation and participation of Honorable Dweretut and Honorable Henry Odwar. This is how I perceive it, but I think anyone who would want to join us on this program can actually join us. But there are a lot of things going on in Magenis camp. So we can see that it's a sign of disagreement. There is a sign of tension within Magenis itself. So there's a possibility this faction is going to collapse anytime soon, because Gerald Johnson Olony is very smart. He doesn't want the son and daughters of Chulu Kingdom to be used for any other political or military purpose other than fighting for what he alleged as the territorial annexation of his ancestral land, as he claimed it. So this is the main purpose of his military revolution. So the reason why he took up arms in the first place is to fight the Jiang Padang. So his political maneuvering here is the fact that he's actually being besieged on both sides. He doesn't want to participate with this politician. He doesn't want even the participation of Gerald Paul Malong Awan and Gerald Thomas Cirillo, and including the recent general who joined them, General Stephen Boy Rolnyan. All these military generals, they were actually discussing, they were negotiating with him or with them so that they can actually join rank to form an alliance, military alliance, so they can actually wage military offensive across South Sudan. It appears Gerald Johnson doesn't want that, but maybe Gerald Garwidwal feel like you want to accommodate all these military generals so that they can actually wage all-out military offensive across South Sudan. But Gerald Johnson doesn't want to use the son and daughters of Chulu Kingdom to fight anywhere else in South Sudan other than targeting the areas of Jiang Padang. And that's why we focus on Gerald Johnson because his main target here is Jiang Padang. And if you want to maneuver, his maneuverability here is something that has to do when he see any weakness, he would want to take side with the government just to buy time or just to resort to status quo while he's actually is still focusing on his target. And that target is Jiang Padang. So I just want to bring it to your attention, particularly you as Jiang Padang, that do not trust Gerald Johnson because he's a man who doesn't want to pay attention to any other target. His main target is Jiang Padang. And if you see him maneuvering politically in an attempt to join the government of South Sudan, he's actually buying time. And that's why I'm here to give you my own evaluation about his intended action here is to buy time and to actually try to find time so he can actually accumulate more military hardware, more ammunition, and to make sure, because in the recent military offensive, again, is the camp of Dr. Riek Machar, I think they are almost running out of bullet. So that's the reason why he's actually trying to, negotiate for rejoining the government of South Sudan. So this is how I look at it. Matek work back part ko ade article that tawne akai queen ko baba bear queen badin. So what you can we kai die what you can more what you can welcome command na ira ko bi ben studio kinu ben. So
I say yinja be leja biluluk, and I want to welcome brother Kir Agur Mabek. Welcome to Young Padang Media. I hope you understand our topic too. So it's good we stand on our topic. So before I say something, I want to give a little bit time to this brother to go ahead, and then I will come after him. Maybe somewhere there, and network also sometimes it's cut off and it's not good for somebody to sit there, and then I will come after you, Iragwar. And
okay.
Also a lot of people there. I share the link, ya Jama, ana katetu link enough. So you don't have no problem. Inta bamshi enough. Talgao link is already there. Inta there ana dublege adang messenger also is okay. WhatsApp is okay. Lakini a link is already there. So you should be okay. Or ana borosolo legle messenger betag is okay too. Uzaman betana dina bederin naksi zaman kaman ho shanmana godina katir. Kira Gur, brother, welcome to Jeng Padang Media.
Oh, thank you, Mutektek.
I think I have not completed reading the article. I don't know whether I should actually.
Yeah,
Okay, Mutektek, let Bill proceed in his article. Let him proceed.
We can go for the audio first, and then article will come after this. Or you want to put them all together at the same time?
No, I use audio. I want to play, but in the audio that don't even summarize an article.
Oh, okay.
Short.
So, okay, yeah, you can continue. Okay. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
So any Johnson Olonya jam kule yen delegation be hukumu bita Sudan delegation toward McGuinness. I don't know. We told our chairman yesterday that his conference should be suspended, and we follow the route of peace implementation. We don't want to engage Malone, Thomas, or anybody else. I think, ladies and gentlemen, you have understand that statement very clear that Gerald Johnson does not want the invitation and formation of any military alliance with Jorol Malongawan, Jorol Tomet Chirilo, or Jorol Stephen Boyrol Nyang. He refused in the formation of any military alliance with this military general, because there was a negotiation going on that they should actually form a military alliance. General Johnson Ulony is not in good terms in forming an alliance with this military general. And he have actually cited the reason why he doesn't want a military alliance with them. Reason is that this general have been fighting them when they were from the government.
Okay, before Kenila Twing, who was the one who invited all these generals while Olony is not agreed for these people to come?
Well, yes, some element within the McGinnis camp, including General Garwidwal himself, had the interest to form an alliance with General Malongawan, with Thomas Trilo, and Stephen Boyrol Nyang. However, on the camp of Agwelek, or on the side of Agwelek, they are not interested to see this military general being involved in their camp. So this is what is actually creating rift, political rift or military rift among themselves. So that's the reason why you see General Johnson Ulony is maneuvering militarily and politically in trying to, make an option to rather join the government than to continue with them against camp. So this is actually starting gradually, and that is why you have not heard anything from General Garwidwal yet, because everything is quiet right now. They just proposed some few days ago that they want to go to McGuinness for a big conference that is going to be convened. Unfortunately, they canceled it all of a sudden. This means something is not right. There is a disagreement already among the two military generals. But in a few days, we will learn more. If Malong wanted to continue to fight Salva Kiir, let him go to Bar Gadal. That is a message by General Johnson. He said if Malong want to remove Salva Kiir Mayari, then he has to go to Bar Gadal to fight there. There is Iowa there. If Thomas Rilo wanted to fight with Kiir, let him go to Central Equatoria. The same apply to Henry Odwar. Henry Odwar is the one that is being proposed by General Garwidwal to become a political representative on behalf of the McGuinness faction under the leadership of Gerald Johnson. Gerald Garwidwal. So it is Johnson Ulony himself who has no interest to be represented by Henry. So this is very complicated. This is what is the indication of disagreement in the McGuinness camp. So McGuinness camp is actually crumbling. It is collapsing. Let him go to Imatong and fight the president. This is a message to Henry Odwar. So Henry Odwar is being rejected by Johnson Ulony that he shouldn't be part of the McGuinness faction. But we don't want to see any renewed fighting in the Chulu Kingdom. You see now, this is what I have been saying all along, that Gerald Johnson Ulony and his Agwelek forces doesn't want their son and daughters to be used to fight anywhere else, other than fighting the interest of the Chulu Kingdom. And this is the political motive driving him in this particular case. So I think the dot is very clear. There is a connection there. But we don't want to see any we will agree with the government because we don't want to keep on creating security every now and then. Olony continue. You see, that is a sign of succumbing to the government of South Sudan, or that is another sign, that is another indication that Gerald Johnson Ulony might be carrying out his own private, confidential negotiation, under-table negotiation with the government of South Sudan. Maybe Gerald Johnson Ulony, Gerald Garwidwal may not know. So he's actually expressing a confidence in the government. And this indicates there is an agent of negotiation between Gerald Johnson Ulony and the government of South Sudan, as he alleged earlier, that he's actually brokering peace or negotiation with the government of South Sudan through the government of Sudan. So this is very clear. There is a tension in McGuinness as we speak. According to General Johnson Olony, their intention was misunderstood when they announced their defection from Dr. Machar camp, saying their intention was never to take South Sudan back to war, but to urge the president to implement the security arrangement in letter and spirit. So what happened then? That doesn't make any sense. So when we announced the Kitgwang declaration, intention was not against anyone, but we declare ourselves so that people could understand us and tell the public that the implementation of the peace agreement is not going on well. So we wanted to ask President Kiir and his passed by President Riek Machar why the peace is not being implemented. They left us here in the bush for so long, and we have kids that are not going to school. Machar has gone to Juba, assumed his position, and he has not been in communication with us. Olony said, we intended to draw their attention to this and the full implementation of the peace agreement so that if something is missing, we can sit once again and allow us military leaders to join the government, he further emphasized. According to General Olony, the leaders of Kitgwang have decided to engage President Salva Kiir Mayardit through the Sudanese government. However, their decision did not settle well with Machar forces who started attacking them. Shortly after our declaration, forces of Riek Machar launched several attacks on our position, and we are still maintaining our defensive position because we are standing with the peace, General Johnson Olony said. So we want our South Sudanese citizens to know that we are in support of peace. We don't want to see our country go back to war again. We need our people who are in the camp to return to their homes and get ready for the election. He continued. Despite that the situation is calm in and around Magenis, the Kitgwang group do not want to renegotiate the peace agreement with President Kiir. That means he's actually succumbing to the government or surrendering. Instead, they just want to be reintegrated with assurance that their forces will get into the SSPDF rank and file, meaning that they want to integrate into the South Sudan armed force without any political or military condition attached to it. We don't want to engage in a new peace negotiation, and we need to revisit the revitalized peace agreement. After our declaration, President Kiir sent out a delegation from Juba headed by a boat and Jokino to Khartoum, and we told them clearly that we are for peace. So we are still waiting for the government so that we can sit and discuss how to go about the implementation of the peace agreement through the supervision of Sudan. General Johnson Olony said, believe that their demand will not be an issue given that the government is in support of any effort for peace in the country. The government is in support of any effort for peace, of course, and they say we should continue negotiating. But since then, we not seen anybody from Juba as well. We want President Kiir to send us a delegation to come to us in Magenis or Khartoum, and we finalize everything. We don't want to go to Addis Ababa or Rome for peace negotiation. We are military leaders, we are military commanders, so it makes it easy to reach an agreement. He further emphasized. The Kitgwang are hoping for President Kiir to listen to their concern and agree to implement the security arrangement for the country and to have the long-awaited unified force. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just want to cut this short so I can give the guests on the studio the opportunity to express their own analysis or evaluation about this development on the ground. So I just want to make it brief. If they are fully committed to the implementation of the security arrangement, we will have a united force and we will all go back under the umbrella of the SPLA, which is the SSPDF, including Riek, Garwidwal, and all of us in South Sudan. We are SPLA. We don't want any major disagreement with the president. It is Riek that is fighting for the position of key, but the rest of us are military officials, General Johnson already said. So this is very interesting. To my understanding, this is a clear voice of someone that is actually committed and fully engaged to be part of the peace and stability. But what we cannot trust is whether he meant his own word, or whether there is something that is being attached to it. This is what we are here to analyze. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think I will give you the platform so you can actually say something. Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Billy Luke, for your reading there. I would like to give our young Padang guests who came here a chance first before me, because Billy Luke went over and I want to hold mine, and then I will come after these two people. Kir was waiting to speak, and then after Kir, brother Do Largen, welcome to Padang Media, and you will come next, and then I will come the third person to you guys, and I want to give you chance first, so you can say something, and then I will come after all of you. So, Kira, brother, you can go ahead, and then follow by brother Dolargen after you.
Okay. Thank you again, the presenters of Padang Media and your guests who are just following your programs. Briefly, I would have spoken in Dinka, but for some reason, I would like the message to be heard across South Sudan or among South Sudanese. First of all, I would inform ourselves as members of the Padang community that hold on, yeah, that exactly we are part of the wider South Sudan, and when we are part of the wider South Sudan, we have our own concerns as Padang, Dinka, and the whole concern of the whole Sudan. And that's why all the time we present our views, whether in the interest of South Sudan or the interest of our own self, which is good, it's not bad. Briefly, I will take us into why should General Johnson Olony take that direction to opt for peace with the government of South Sudan. First of all, politics is about personal interest. Olony, as a general, as he mentioned, that people look for power so that they could eat. That is his interest. On top of that, he has the interest of his people, the Chola people whom he has been fighting all these years for that allegation of that Padang has taken their land, which is not even the point. At this present time, any South Sudanese leader has an opinion to express his concerns. Either he win peace or he don't win peace. Therefore, if General Johnson Olony is trying to open other avenues, peaceful avenues, to engage the government of South Sudan for a conclusive peace, then there's no problem about that. We as Padang, we have no problem about that. As long he look for peace in the interest of all South Sudanese, including Padang, or which, if he has taken that direction, then it's good, and may God bless him. Yeah, Johnson Olony has a concern. One, again, is the border town between North and South Sudan, but is in the land of Shuluk, and we have had all these wars that have been going on between IO of Dr. Riek and the other IO of General Simon Garidwell. They are fighting within the vicinity of the Chuluk land, and you have heard that they were moving all over northern Upper Nile, messing themselves. They are fighting one another, of which I see General Olony will not withstand that war to be fought in the land of Chuluk.
So he felt the heat.
He felt the heat, exactly. He felt the heat eventually, and he will not sustain it. Not only him, but the Chuluk people will not sustain that war to be going on and on and on. And that has been the concern of the South Sudanese. I was so concerned the other day that if these parties are not stopped to fight there, they will fight to the last man. I know Simon Garidwell will not surrender to Dr. Machar. Neither Dr. Machar will not surrender to General Garidwell. Therefore, it is even the interest of South Sudanese to stop that war by any means, because I know those young men will fight to the last man, either on the side of Dr. Machar or on the side of Garidwell. And that is the concern that is seen by the other Shuluk intellectuals or him as general.
And
or
Shuluk
other,
don't want that at all. That's why they are maneuvering like that.
Exactly.
They would rather choose to go to the government side.
Exactly.
But the question is whether they will still raise the grievances of the alleged land grabbing their claim.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When they are negotiating, as you mentioned, they might be negotiating now under the table or wherever they are negotiating, or which they might put those demand on the table. But it is up to the government either to take them or just to maneuver around those crazy demands. But it is up to the government with them. It is up to the government with them. If the government condones and award them, then there will be no fees after some time. But if the government is tooth or the government involved, the wider South Sudanese communities, when these issues are raised, the issues of Chiluk land or Cholo land or whatever, then the government has to be careful about that, because that is the war itself. But if Olony compromise, and I heard the other day that the Cholo are calling for the negotiation or dialogue with the Padang Dinka. That is what I've been looking at all these years along.
That is our position. That's what we have been telling them. This thing can be solved amicably.
Our brothers should stop taking up arms. Yeah, they should stop taking up arms. They should stop mobilizing the whole country, whom are not even aware of our borders, and lie to them, propagate unnecessary confrontations, like saying like Padang has taken our land. That will not have. But if we sit down, just two communities, Cholo and Dinka Padang, plus some intermediates, plus some who will imitate, we will come to conclusion. I know and I believe a lot of, at least 3 or 4 generations were born on the lands of Padang. We could not deny that they were not there. But what we denied of Padang is that the ownership of the land. Ownership of the land is ancestral right. It cannot be compromised. And that's why we will not give in that allegation. Yes, they live with us through generations, but the land belonged to who had that ownership prior to the immigration. Yeah, when I came here, I came to just give some remarks. You know, I was so confused, like when the Kid Guang came up with the accusation that Dr. Machar is not implementing the peace with Salva Kiir properly. And I wondered what strategy will they take again to implement peace properly with Salva Kiir government. I believe if there are hindering factors that are stopping Salva Kiir and Dr. Machar to implement peace properly, then the same thing will apply to them. And I'm sure even if General Gadir will mobilize his supporters and wage war or other peaceful negotiations, I think they will end up into the cocoon or into the atmosphere where Dr. Machar is now with Salva Kiir. And I'm sure and confident that Dr. General Garidwell may not negotiate a peace that will be more gentle than what has been negotiated by Dr. Machar with his other comrades of other parties like the SOA and the OPPP, of which our generals there, like those generals whom Olony has mentioned, they have to be very careful. We South Sudanese, we are fed up of war, and fighting one another is not a solution. What we should do is just compromise. Yes, of course, Kid Guang group may have some grievances, as one of them has been acknowledged by Olony. The power sharing by Dr. Machar was was provocative, is questionable, and they have a right to protest. But I, as son of Padang and as assassin at the same time, I don't buy the slogan of engaging into another military confrontation with either the forces of Salva Kiir or Riek Machar. That is a total destruction to our people, and it will elongate the suffering of people and destabilizing our region or country and hindering developmental projects. Of which, at this point, gentlemen, I will end my remark there, and I appreciate you for the time that you gave me. Thank you.
Yeah, brother Kir, you can stay there. We will make it short. And brother, I will give a chance to brother Dollargen. But let me say this: these two general, Johnson Wolonya and Garwidwell, there is something confusing me there, because this guy, Johnson Wolonya, has had his own agenda, and Garwidwell was about to switch Dr. Riek Machar into the under IU leader, because they was talking about that Riek Machar should not be the head of the IU. We have to come up with the head of IU. That was the case for Garwidwell, that according to what I heard. And now is the time now for the peace. Riek Machar is already there with the peace also. And then they coming with another peace in Khartoum. That is what they said. But there is some analyze here. It is not clear here. But the invitation of 30th of this month is very dangerous. And I know that invitation is not going to work. But for Garwidwell, it will work for him. But it's not going to work for Olony. Because Olony was not about to unite with anybody. He just for with the Shuluk, that's it. But he don't have no way to tell to Garwidwell to leave Garwidwell and go alone. But he want to stick with Garwidwell. But I will come later on. I don't want to hold brother Dolargen. We need to talk about Garwidwell and Wolony and Riek Machar, because what they declare about, that is what now we follow it. So I don't know if things change. So Riek Machar is going to stay with the IU and then they will do their own piece. I don't know. That is what I'm going to hear it later on from each of every one of you. So, brother Dolarian, you are welcome, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you very much, Kiragor, for the wonderful contribution you have just made. But I want to clarify this to you, based on the expression given or remark given by Kiragor. Johnson Olony made it very clear in his interview, and the article that I just read out, the summary of his own interview from the radio to Mazuch, that he's not actually issuing any military or political condition in joining the government. So that means he's no longer complaining. And there is a sense of urgency here. There is a sense of expedition. And that is why I'm wondering myself, what is it that is behind the rushing of Gerald Johnson Olony to join the government? That is why I wrote the title, Is Gerald Johnson Olony succumbing or surrendering? I can use either term based on how I look at it, the underlying condition attached to it. So maybe there is something forcing him to run away from Again's Scared, because his interest as the Chulu Kingdom does not resonate with what Gerald Garwidwell intends to do. So according to his interview, he's going to Juba without any condition. That is how I understood his interview. If there is a way you can actually interpret it or evaluate it, that is up to each one of you to make that contribution. So I was just responding to Kiragor because he was actually asking a question, what else that Gerald Johnson Olony is going to demand from the government now that he's about to join or requesting the government to. He just only want an assurance of integration of his forces into the rank and file of the SSPDF. That is what he's actually demanding. He's not talking about the land being grabbed by Jiang Padang. It's not talking about security arrangement. And as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it very clear that His Excellency, First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, is on the right track in implementing the peace agreement. Even the security arrangement they were complaining about as the faction of McGuinness is already being implemented. So this is why this McGuinness group look ridiculous. And that's why I say, you know, peace partners ought to be supported. Because if you are actually genuine in implementing the peace agreement, you have to support each other as the peace partners. That is why I have been calling upon Junubin to stand behind the group of Dr. Riek Machar, because they are committed to peace and stability of our country. Now, General Johnson is coming to his senses, not only because he was actually happy to join the government of South Sudan, but it's because he's under the military pressure by the faction of Dr. Riek Machar, and he's not even comfortable with the group of General Johnson. So he's actually in between the two zones.
Let us give this chance to the brother.
That is how I look at it. So I would like to welcome you, Dol Arjun. Welcome to Jiang Padang Media, and you can actually contribute your input to this.
Let us make it short because our time is running out. So Dol Arjun, we give you a chance.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to greet you. You, the gentlemen who are in the panel, and those who are listening. I am Dol Arjun, leader of the Union Party of South Sudan. Quickly, you can overrule this. This is something that I have actually stood for, and I advocate for it. So it has a ground that those rebels, they need to be in Juba. That is something that I've been, if you heard me from my speech on other social media back when this thing happened in Maganes. So I was urging them to actually to go to Juba instead of fighting themselves. And the reason I do that, I think the reason I support the position of Johnson Olony, I think is something that can support the entire South Sudanese civilian. And also it will give us peace in our country. One is that, they're going to move the war from the land of Shuk, land of community, where there are a lot of civilians there. So that will remove the risk of those communities where they are actually being targeted or maybe being affected by the war. And that is something that we can even think, let's say it even happened in part of our country, it will be worse. So those Shuluk, they are also our civilians, they are our people. And they need to have peace. If they are really war, they are engaged in war, we are not going to be happy. So I think it's a wise decision for them to think about moving to Juba in that line. The other thing is that we have seen Olony has learned very quickly, and all those groups, they learn very quickly about the opportunists, those who usually don't have arm, and whenever something like this or opportunity for discussing peace, they come in. I think they did good by rejecting those of Malongawan and Boy and those of Shirilo. It's actually very good for their own life, because people like Malong, most of the officers, he fought them and meeting them in Maganes, I think will not be a good, is a good decision for them to do it like that. So I think the decision they did was good for even Malong himself and Chirilo. The other thing is that it's good for the general who have decided to sign peace with the government, because they don't want confusion here. Because you see, as he said, those of Malong and Thomas Chirilo and Boy, they have an agenda of overthrowing Salva Kiir from his seat. This is not what those of Gerald Garwish are actually want. So there will be a conflict of interest, and they don't want that. That will bring confusion in the conference. So I think it was best interest, not only for them, for the people of South Sudan, to try to avoid that kind of conflict, that kind of confusion, so that at least they can pursue what they want. And actually, they are very specific, like Olony stated very well, that they have some goal. They have some goal that this time around they are going they are about the graduation. They don't even talk about the implementation of the security arrangement because they know this is something that not going to work. So they are talking about things that can work. They have demand. And if these demands are not met, maybe that's what we can talk about, what will happen. Because the demand was very specific. I heard about him demanding that the forces of IO should be graduated. You see, that is a condition. And that is, I think that one, people might see like it's only advantage to the opposition, but I think it's also advantage for our people in general South Sudan, because leaving troops like that, a huge number of troops outside in the state and accommodating politicians, it's not going to be fine for us. That's why people of Padang are complaining, right? They are complaining of the president of Olony with the troop. So troops are not good when they are not organized. So I think for them to demand the graduation of the troop first is going to be a specific goal, and I like the way they specify it. And the other thing is that they talk about revising the agreement because they think there's no more agreement. Agreement is already there. It's only that it's not fair for the military. Okay, it's not fair in a which sense politician has taken over all the position, and he said that they are going to at least to share those positions that Riek Machar has divided to probably his family. He said that, and I think that is logically who doesn't see this is unfair actually. Okay, so if you go maybe 9 ministers, maybe if they divide them, if the government of South Sudan say, okay, you are many, these people are few, we are going to give you all the 9 ministers, then the government will be resolved. They will allocate, they will take the oil ministers, they will take the defense, and they will take other ministers and others protocol that are there. So that is because, you know, for me, many of us know this. We know this truth that a lot of troops, they are outside. Riek, he only has some few individuals that are politicians. So all the fighters are outside. And having politicians leaving the people with guns is a threat to the people of South Sudan. It might not be a threat for those of Vice President and President because they are in Juba, they think it's safe. But if the country is not safe, they will also be, they will not have peace.
Let me add one second to you there so you can continue. Now you say Malong and Thomas Chiril and those of this, they want to throw Salva Kiir Mayardit. Yes, you're right. What about Johnson Wolunya and Garwidwal? They want to throw Riek Machar, right? Because they declare that Riek Machar should not be available for to be a leader of IU. So these guys, they want to throw each and everyone from the government, right?
No. Olony was straight, and you can go and watch this.
Okay,
Johnson Olony, he was talking on behalf of his leader because he say his leader is Simon Garwidwal. That is the leader of the forces, all forces, IO forces. And what he say is that
do you believe Gerald Johnson Olony agree with what Gerald Olony just communicated on radio to Massive? I don't think so.
What do you say?
I don't think he was actually speaking on behalf of Gerald Garwidwal.
No, he was speaking on Gerald. If you go to the video, he mentioned.
No, he was he was talking about Garwidwal because
he say Garwidwal is their chairman.
They say our forces was attacked by Riek Machar, and then we there. So he say something about both of them because he called Garwidwal is my general. Yeah, he called Garwidwal
the chairman. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the chairman. He say our chairman. Yes, he talking about Garwidwal. Yes, he did.
Yeah. I heard there is a article published somewhere that Gerald Johnson Olony is contradicting, or Gerald Garwidwal is actually contradicting Gerald Johnson Olony. But it is something here to be confirmed. So go ahead.
Yeah. So what we are talking here, I think Garwidwal and both Johnson Olony, they don't have intention of removing Riek Machar, and this is something that we have to be clear. The only thing that has come from him right now, we understood today from the video, is that Riek Machar was unfair. He was very unfair by allocating the position of IO to his family members. That is what he said. And he said, we cannot go and discuss new agreement. What they are going to do is that they are going to demand those positions. If Salva now agree to graduate the troop, then they're going to demand position, and those positions be allocated. So what we could be, there are some things that might emerge from there. So let's say now the positions are allocated, or the government is dissolved, and Garwedwell go in with his troop, or the troop are graduated. So there will be up in that the government will be resolved, and they will be allocated new ministers and some general structure. Maybe, we don't know, maybe Riek Machar might find himself don't have a position. I think so. That is what I'm guessing. And maybe most of his ministers that he already assigned might end up maybe in a street. We don't know. So those are the things that I think these guys, they are very specific. Okay. And maybe this guy, Salva could say, oh no, this is a lot of troop, and I don't care. They can come Garwedwell. Maybe I'm going to use them against let me welcome with them with their troop. Instead of people are now pessimistic about troop going to Juba, maybe Kir is going to allow them to go to Juba. So these are the things. And by the way, he say very important thing. He say like what Billy Luke was supposed is wrong, because he say they're not going to write to Juba. He say they're going to use Sudan to be in the middle as a mediator. So something similar to what happened in in Addis Ababa and Khartoum before.
It is true. So it is true. Jonathan Olony said it in his interview that they are using the Sudan government as the brokerage to negotiate the joining of the government of South Sudan.
Yeah. So those are the things that we are looking. And I think overall, I think the decision is not only good for the faction of Garwedwell. I think it's going to end up to be good even for those opportunists that were rejected, people like Malonga and then Chirilo, because the reason Garwe rejected them is experience from the IO, because when many politicians came in, they end up like they don't help and they don't have troops. So it was obstacle because, and these politicians usually they have their own interests, so they become obstacle when army the commanders are discussing something. So they become obstacle to these commanders, and that's why a right decision cannot be made. And I think it was good for them to really reject this guy and hold them so that they can discuss the peace straight, because they are about the army that is left out by Riek Machar. So I think what we need to do
now, there is the confusion all over the three camps. The camp with Johnson Olony, camp with Garwedwell, because Garwedwell want to involve those of Henry Odwa and those of Honorable Dueretu to represent them politically in the world state. Gerald Johnson Olony is opposed to that. So it is like Gerald Johnson Olony is actually being squeezed. It's being squeezed by the group of Dr. Riek Machar. It's being squeezed by the group of Gerald Garwedwell. So he's in between. So he has no option but to join the government of South Sudan. That's why he's actually appealing to the government of South Sudan to listen to his appeal to join the government. So his forces can actually be integrated into the SSPDF. And at the same time, you see the camp with Dr. Riek Machar, which is now a part of the South Sudan National Unity Government, is also worried. They are worried that the group of Gerald Johnson Olony or Garwedwell are coming in to be used by the government to demolish them within the system. So there is a volatile political worry in these three camps.
No, I heard about the speech when he was saying
we
that.
don't know which one is which. It is something to be seen yet.
Yeah, I think is in terms of their agreement with Garwe was very clear that he said that this is their first meeting since the incident happened. And what happened is that whatever was suggested, that there will be a conference that invite all the other faction or politician. Yes, it was because they thinking that they wanted a coalition, so that with the coalition they can discuss a broad peace agreement. But when they meet, when they have the meeting, they calculate and they see these people have different interests through the consultation. So for them, they don't have interest of removing Kir. He said it clearly. They have no interest of removing Salva Kiir from the being a president, which is contrary.
Are you talking about Johnson, Olony, and Garwidwal, right?
And Garwidwal, yes, they don't have any interest.
They did not say that they don't have interest in removing. But yes, you're right.
But people like Kirilo, people like Boy, people like Malong, they particularly they want Kir and Riek Machar to go away. That is not the interest of Garwidwal.
Yeah.
Garwidwal is saying Pacific. He needs his troop to be graduated.
Why is it not their interest? And they have been chanting recently that they want both Kir and Riek Machar to go.
And that's why, you know, that's why I told you, you know, sometime back I told you we have to go to what we call the root cause of the war. You know, some of these generals really, the root cause of the war has been diverted to politics, which is not. So it's been diverted to removing so and so, but that is not what people are fighting for reality. Yeah. So now it will give us, if the troops are graduated and
Larkin, you cut up. Can you hear him, Daniel?
Yeah, internet.
People, when they come out, people who are even fearing now to discuss the peace with Salva Kiir, they will begin to discuss it. There are some root cause that will, so people will be open.
Can I answer
and
this question?
Believing that maybe if you do this, you will be arrested or you will. So people are kind of in fear. That will go away. So we will have opportunity of even discussing our problem more broader way, so that at least this thing can be solved. And that is what we need in our country. So now for me, what I will say for our people is that if we really need peace in our country, we need to actually to support whatever Johnson, Olony, and Garwidwal are saying, that they can go to Juba. We need to push Salva Kiir and Riek Machar to accept their demand. They have to go to Juba with those troops that are left out, because those troops, they might not be threat to Salva Kiir or Riek Machar. They are threat to our civilians down there. They will be threat to Shuluk. They will be threat to any Nuer or any Dinka land there. So we don't need troops like that. We don't need militia. We need troops to be organized, graduate them, and assign them in barrack, put them in barrack. So that is what my argument, I think, is very, is really a very crucial point. And I hope Salva Kiir this time will not joke with graduating these forces. So he need to graduate the forces, because they are only asking two things. They're not asking a lot of things. Graduate the military, share the position that they were unfairly shared by the IO leader, share them. So they're going to share. So there will a lot of people.
But there are no other position left for them.
What? Huh?
All the positions are taken by the other opposition party.
Well, it will be dissolved. They will dissolve it, right? Because they have the people here. These people, they don't have, so they will dissolve it. So the government, in my view, is that when they go to Juba, it will be dissolved completely. So this agreement, I think, if you look at the model that happened with the polynormative in 2006, this is exactly what is going to happen. So the government will be resolved, and they will end up sharing the government, because those Riek Machar and everybody who go there will be considered like a government. They will be considered like opposition. So they will be given the share of IO 9 ministers, and plus their others, small deputy, and even their share in the state level. So that is really is a good thing for us. I think it's going to open.
Let me ask you this one between you and Billy. Look, now they fighting with Riek Machar. They did not fight with the government, but these two guys, Johnson, Olony, and Garwidwal, they fought Riek Machar. and how they will gonna go there in Juba and sit in the same office like IO, because they say they not IO of Riek Machar. So Riek Machar, he already formed the government. He already formed his offices. So it looked like Riek Machar is not belong to them, even though they come to Juba. They don't have anything to do with Riek Machar. Riek Machar will continue with his offices. So what do you
And
think
that is
there?
what, you know, their argument, Daniel, is this. They are saying Riek Machar has left the forces out. And we know that is true. He left his forces out. So he go to Juba and telling people that he's discussing the agreement with Salva Kiir. So for them, they're asking how the agreement discussion is taking 2 years. So that means they are saying Riek is just going for position and he's not talking to them. He's not reporting back. So right now is that they are demanding the troop to be graduated and those positions that Riek assigned to his family to be reassigned back. Only 2 things. I think this is very easy, Ajama. It's something.
Do you think Dr. Riek Machar will actually accept to remove those individuals? Yeah.
Well, I think this is something that will be open to any judgment because I think they are going to fall the IGAD.
That is impossible. That is impossible, and that will also raise another question: whether their interest was all about position or whether they were actually fighting for a cause. And you have said it very clearly. You keep talking about the root cause. The root cause is very clear.
It's not
listen, for Gerald Johnson ruling, the root cause is about the alleged claim of men being taken by Jeng Fadak. And the root cause of Gerald Garwidwal is about what he alleged as the killing of Nuer in December 2013. Isn't it?
Well, if these clear. 2 things, I think for
why are we talking about position here?
Okay, this is what brought the position, okay? The agreement say those root cause of the war will be discussed in Juba because it is going to take us long, 3 years to discuss things and go to the reconciliation. So I think for them to actually to begin discussing the root cause, they have to be in Juba, right? And to be in Juba, they need their troop to be graduated. To be in Juba, they need position, they need government position. So that is the first thing to be done. Share the government fairly and be in Juba, open the discussion now. Okay, open our parliament, our office to discuss the root cause. Discuss the land of discuss the killing of the Nuer.
They should only focus on the root cause and forget about the position.
No, we cannot focus on the root cause when they are in the bush or when they are in Khartoum. It's impossible. We have to discuss in our land. The root cause is in our land.
Dolargen and Billy, look, what I was thinking about, Garwidwal was talking, and I agree with him, is the security. He say the insecurity in South Sudan is affected everybody. It's civilian, military, everybody, not a position. But if it's turned today as a position, this is the position now people fighting. That is the position why you see Malone is not there. And this is the position why you see Thomas Chirila is not there. Everybody, you see, it's all about the position. It's not about the civilian insecurity. But when they say this thing, I would agree, yes, we need a security for all our people.
Daniel, I beg to disagree with you.
Okay, hold on.
Let me answer it. I've been saying this over and over every time I come to this show. The main motive why you see Gerald Johnson Olony refusing to join the government is because he lost being appointed as the governor of Upper Nile State. That was his expectation. The expectation of Jimmy Kongchua Ranley and Gerald Garwidwal was to be appointed to become a minister of defense. Unfortunately, they lost. Dr. Riek Machar give all these key positions to his immediate family members, including the in-law. That is where the crisis begins within the SPLMIO. And that is where it came to disintegration. So this idea that the security arrangement is an issue is just a political mockery. It is just a political entertainment being used to scapegoat the personal interest that is driving this individual. So it's very clear they were accusing Dr. Riek Machar of family enterprise. That is the conflict within the
let me tell you this.
something to do with security arrangement.
Let me tell you this, Dollargen and you, Billy, look, Olony and Johnson will, Olony and Garwidwell, while they living there, you can say the agenda is the same, but it's not the same. They just sharing the Kim. Dollargen, you know, what is Garwidwell is doing there on his mind is not the same what Johnson will have it in his mind. So they have a different agenda, completely different agenda, but what they do, they sharing the movement. That's it. They sharing the way, like that is what Garwidwell doing with Wolong. They sharing the boat, they sharing the car.
And they have a different
everybody is going
for.
to, yeah, everybody going to the different position, a different direction, but they want to make things together. So when they go, they look like they doing the same agenda. You see now, Wolong's agenda is about the land for Padang. Let me tell you this. Now, Chuluk, now they're going to meet Padang people because we've been talking to them a long time that we need to have something called peace between Padang and Chuluk in Afanat. Now they call for the peace now for us, Padang, to sit down with them, Chuluk, to talk about what we want to say. Johnson Wolong is not here yet. So Padang and Chuluk, they will sit down soon, and what they will discuss is what going on. Are you agree to come together and let us live in peace or not? Because now the fighting is already starting in Chuluk land. Because Chuluk land, there was no fighting for a long time. But this is the time now the fighting is happening. And it will continue. So Garwidwell is have to be careful there because they're going to kick him out.
Already. So the
Chuluk people, they're going to kick out Garwidwell soon. And Garwidwell have to make sure that he moved to Lawnware or he moved to Bentiu or somewhere in Gajak, somewhere there. He have to find the place soon. That is how the Chuluk they doing now. Because Chuluk was not intend to join the government. The Chuluk was not intend to join the government. The Chuluk was about to finish for Padang. That's it. But Garwidwell came with something like, oh, we need to change Riek Machar and then we go. That is not interest of Johnson Wolong. So Johnson Wolong is still gonna go back to Khartoum. He's not gonna go to Juba, but he's gonna go to Khartoum. Yeah.
It is Chuluk Kingdom politicians and their citizens that are urging General Johnson Wolong to join the government in the state because now the alliance of Garwidwell want to push them to fight the national war. But that's what Chuluk Kingdom rejected completely. Chuluk Kingdom just want to focus fighting Jiang Fada.
Yeah.
But they know it very well. They understand it. They have made a calculation. They have made a military calculation that they cannot do this because they have enemy on both sides. They cannot deal with the forces of Dr. Riek Machar.
So
and they cannot deal with the government.
Do you think Garwidwell is still there in Magennis in a while they did not go to Juba? Both of you?
That's why he chooses to go to Juba now because he's in between the two. It's in a very terrible situation as we speak.
Yeah.
Even out of ammunition already, I told you. There's no more ammunition. So this is a kind of like a surrendering.
What you say?
Whatever we can see, one of the things that I tell people is this: the war that has been fought in Upper Nile, Malakal, and Bor and Bentiu, everybody has seen, the whole world has seen. Okay, they didn't even benefit the people in that area. They didn't benefit the opposition, and they don't benefit the government. So I think people know this. People understand them. That they are not benefiting us, those wars. And even you, if the war is weighed in those Maganis or weighed in the Jiang Padang land, you're not going to be happy. So I think now, since Garwidwell and Johnson Olony, they're going to stop the war right now. There will be no war again in Maganis. Even those opposition of Riek Machar, because these are the troops of Garwidwell, so they're going to be called back. And then they will coming and join the rank and wait for graduation in their barracks. Now, issues the root cause. The root cause, we are not going to rush for the root cause now. Because the root cause, they need time. They need people to be discussing. They need education. Things like land. They need people to go to borders and confirm borderline. Things like the genocide. Genocide need a long reconciliation. And education about God and about things like that, about peace. So this thing, that is why people are thinking, they are saying, okay, let concern first. about the graduation of the troop, okay? And second, let's concern about politicians going to Juba and then fairly divide those positions fairly. And then now, when people are in Juba, very secure, and they are stable and they have peace, now we open the root cause of the war. And that is how we go to discuss the peace. Now, the problem is, whoever don't want this, then it's not going to be Olony problem or Garwedwell problem alone, or even Billy Luke. So it will be the problem of the entire country. As we see it now, war broke out in Maganes. It broke out in Western Equatoria right now. I think last week was really bad on those sides. Because these troops, they are outside. Most of the troops, they are outside. They are left outside. So I think it will be wise for us to support it. People of South Sudan, let the troop be organized and be put in barrack. And then let the general go in Juba. Then we open our discussion in Juba, because it's very expensive even to discuss something like the genocide of the Nuer in Khartoum while you are in Khartoum. It doesn't make sense to discuss the land of Shuluk. You are in Khartoum. That one will take you so many years. But if you are in Juba, you go to Hole, you go to your parliament, you don't pay anything, it's your land. That is where those issues can be addressed. So I think you guys, we need really to support the position of Garwedwell now. The entire South Sudanese should see that, because it's stopping the war. Actually, that's the way of peace. If we can't support this, then we have a problem.
Yeah, Dollargen, we will give a little bit chance to brother Peter Bellew is here before. You will be there, and me and Biluluk, and then our time is keep going. But brother Peter just came, and our discussion is just analyze what going on between this guy and what going on between the opposition. So I can give Peter Blue, thank you for coming, and it Barb also, our discussion is about analyze for what Wolong was talking on the radio Tamade compared to what they was announced a while ago with Johnson Wolong and Garwidwell.
Yeah, welcome, Comrade Peter. This is all about analyzing the interview of Gerald Johnson Olony on Radio Tamazic. So, based on your own understanding or evaluation about his interview, this is what this discussion is all about. Otherwise, we are better off.
Peter, you can hear us? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I think we don't hear you. We are about to wrap it up in 6 minutes. It has to be 2 hours.
Peter, go ahead. Yeah,
we might come back tomorrow.
Peter, speak.
Yes, I can hear you. You're now clear. I just want, for whatever reason. Yeah. Oh, you don't hear me?
No, you good now. You good now. You good.
Yeah, before we didn't hear you. Now
we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
First of all,
we get cut again.
Doing
something.
Is it not speaking?
I don't know exactly what is going on. It seems like I'm hearing background noise.
This is gonna be.
We don't hear the background noise. Maybe on your side.
We don't have it here. It's about you there. Go ahead there.
Okay. Well, if you hear me clear, let me go ahead.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to thank you, Brother Matectics. Brother Peter Lutz, and the audience that are listening.
Sometimes the echo come when you have two devices open. Yeah, that is how it is gonna work. So if you have another device open, that is what it give you an echo. And go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I think my voice is clear now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think it's clear now. I turn off the computer. I think that's where there was the echo. First of all, let me thank Padang Media and also General Largens. I will go directly to topics. If you hear me, I still hear some echo. I don't know exactly what's going on. Let me log in through my cell phone.
Comrade Peter, believe we hear you very well. Even the audience who are watching you, they can
hear you very well.
Maybe there is an echo where you at.
But
okay.
it's good.
It's coming from your side, but we don't even hear it, anything. We just only hear your voice.
Yeah, let me go direct to the point.
Yes. We might come back tomorrow. We just want to close it right now. Go ahead, Peter. You are clear.
Why don't I log out and log back in? Because I couldn't even. Yeah.
No problem. You can do it very quickly. Yeah. I think Daniel and Dolargin, we can wrap this up, and if possible, we might want to come back tomorrow because we are likely to hear more development, probably tomorrow or in few days to come. So everything will be very clear. The camp of Agwellic forces under General Johnson Olony is awaiting the response from the government of South Sudan. According to the interview of General Johnson Olony, the government have not yet responded to them. And they are using some government agent or some of their agents from Guinness to go and meet with some of the government delegate or agent in Khartoum. That is where the negotiation is going on. But up to this point, they have not heard any response from the government of South Sudan. So in few days, we will hear more development.
So, Largen, what do you see now? Is what can you think about them to join now the peace? Because Garwidwell and Johnson Olony, they are about to call out the government and come and do the and make the peace between them. What about the other general, Malone and Thomas Cirillo and those of this? Do you think they will join that?
Well, they're not part of McGuinness, so you don't need to include them. They have been excluded by.
Yeah, I think those general. I think this guy has really experience. I think they don't repeat. They don't want to repeat anything that has happened before. Anybody who don't have troop, it will be accommodated as politician, and they can get after the discussion everything when they make timetable. If they wanted to be going to Juba as politicians, because you know what happened before when those of Dawa Turjong, there was this Ladogore, there was a lot of general without troop. So those general when they
all of them they didn't have a troop.
they have troops. They did have troops. So that was the problem, and this is what making it very hard for this politician to have a conflict with the army general. So I think they don't want to.
I'm back now, brother Matek. I think I solved the problem. I'm back now.
Okay, Peter, you come. Even Ring Dagdong too. He don't have a troop, so everybody don't have no troop. Yeah, he don't have no troop.
Ring Dagdong don't have troop, and that's why we are saying this guy with the troop. These are the right guys.
General Largen, give me a chance now.
Go ahead, Peter. Peter, go ahead.
Yes, Gibel Khan, I had problem with my phone. I was able to fix it, and it's really working fine right now. I think you can hear me well. I was hearing background noise. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Brother Matek, Billy Lux, General Largen. I'm going to jump to the point. I think you guys analyzing the speech General Johnson Olony, the speech he had yesterday. So one of the things based on my understanding, General Johnson Olony and General Simon Garwidwell do not want to fight government. So they really want the peace that was signed to be implemented as it is written. That's exactly what Johnson Olony said. That's exactly what General Simon Garwidwell said. If you follow the speech of General Simon Garwidwell, when he gave the speech in Radio Tamazight, he said he does not want war. He just wants the peace to be implemented as it is written. He wants secure arrangement to be, implemented first. Amalgamation of IO forces and IG forces. That's it. That was the same thing Johnson Olony said last night. There is no different statement. So some of the things that I heard Johnson Olony had was, I don't have any detail. I think Malone and others rebel group want to have a coalition with the group of Kitgwang Declaration. That request that was made by those factions was denied, according to Johnson Olony, by their group, because they see the other group that they want to fight government, and a group of Simon Garwidwell wants peace to be implemented, which is, to me, it is the interest of people of South Sudan that we don't want, South Sudan to go back to war. If there's a way that we can solve our own differences peacefully, that's the way that I would go for it. And I really appreciate General Garwich, a decision that he had made not to fight government, just pursue a lasting peace, implement the peace that was already signed. The only thing is Riek is removed. He's no longer a leader of IO. He's now being replaced by General Garwidwell. So that's it. And then the secure arrangement, have to be implemented first before General Garwidwell and a team of SPLM-IO land to Juba. It's not going to be the same as Riek Machar feast. Now, all of us, as General Olony said, if government wants peace, that secure arrangement have to be implemented. And the whole world are watching. If Sulfur failed to implement secure arrangement at this time, he will be seen as somebody who doesn't want peace. And then the war will be last resort. So for now, the agenda of General Garwidwell is to implement peace. That's the only thing that I know.
Okay, but can I ask you a question really quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, what happened all of a sudden that they decided to come to join the government forces when in fact they were complaining a month ago about the security arrangement? As the security arrangement being implemented now that they are now considering coming to Juba.
Okay, let me tell you this. I don't know if you follow the statement made by General Olony. General Olony didn't say that we're going to go to Juba. They still have the same demand. Secure arrangement have to be made first. There is no secure arrangement, there is no peace. There's nothing changed. The statement.
But based on the interview of General Johnson Olony, he said it very clearly, without any condition attached to it, no string attached to it. They just want an assurance of the reintegration of their forces into the rank and file of the SSPDF without any condition.
And this is what I'm telling you.
No further demand for security arrangement.
Believe me, what I'm saying is true. There's things that I will not going to air what I'm saying, and that's what you're going to hear. I heard the same statement General Johnson Olony said, that he wants to make sure that the forces of IO are amalgamated. He used the word reintegrated.
Yes.
Yeah, back to South Sudan Army. And this is a part of the process that General Garwich demands. So
also, their intention is to make sure their forces is being amalgamated into the SSPDF. Is that what they are demanding? That means that is how they look at the security arrangement, isn't it?
Let me tell you the truth, and this is a fact. There is no guarantee. There's a possibility that people will go back to war if Sulfur is not serious with implementing this security arrangement. Because you're not going to see Garwich or Johnson Olony go to Juba without security arrangement. All forces of IO must be amalgamated first. If that happens, then you will see Olony and Garwich in Juba. It's very simple and it's clear. That's the same statement that Garwich made, and that's the same statement Johnson Olony made.
Okay, second question, very quickly. Now that they are contemplating coming to Juba and they are given the guarantee of their forces being amalgamated into the SSPDF, will they demand any position from the government, given the fact that all the key positions are already taken by the faction of Dr. Riek Machar?
Riek Machar doesn't have, let me give you this. Dr. Riek Machar doesn't have any faction. Riek Machar will be removed and will be replaced.
He has the faction already. He occupied all the key positions that were allotted for the SPLMIO generally. Or are you saying that the government is going to remove all those ministers?
Billy, I would say, why don't we wait until October 20? Then let's discuss this. You're going to hear things differently. So for me right now, Riek doesn't have faction. Riek has been removed. He's no longer an IO leader. So the ball is in the hand of General Garwejwal. And let me assure you this, General Garwej does not want people of South Sudan to fight. And this is the whole world will know that Kir is serious for peace or is not. It's not going to be the same as Garwej peace. And I don't think that Salva Kiir will accept it. There's possibility there might be war, believe me or not.
Okay, now that you are saying that the possibility there might be a war, does it look like a political ploy, military contingent plan to try to buy time or something?
No, no. The interest of IO, have you heard what Salva Kiir said? Kiir said the peace that was written, it was not written to be implemented. That's what he said. And if he still does not want to implement it, that's what will take people back to war. The peace must be implemented as it is written, if Kiir wants peace.
Otherwise, and I thought few months or a few weeks ago, the security arrangement is going on smoothly.
No,
the general of Dr. Riek Machar are going to be given a key position within the SSPDF. That means the security arrangement is on the right track of being implemented.
No, no.
Where is the position of the McGinnis camp?
There was no secure arrangement in Juba. But believe me, I don't think this thing should not be discussed in hand. Let's wait and we will see the result, how things fall apart.
Okay, you guys, three of you. So if there is a possibility for the war to go back, would do you see that those Olony and Johnson, Olony and Garwejwal to fight? Do you think they're gonna fight everybody from South Sudan, or do they gonna fight Remnya Dagdong only if there is a fighting?
Okay, nobody even want to fight. You heard it from Olony, and you heard it from General Garwej. Based on what I know, the information that I will not reveal to you guys in public, government of South Sudan, Salva Kiir himself does not want to fight, based on what I heard. He wants this peace to be implemented. So there's a guarantee that we will have all forces of IO
so
and IG.
You can read that comment there on the screen as well. And then
there is very little. I can't even read it unless let me log in a computer. I might be able to.
No, I can read it for you.
Okay.
The McGinnis groups are not making any sense of Riek removal. How do you remove someone who is no longer in your movement or army rebellion? We see the impossibility of removing Dr. Riek Machar because he's no longer under your group. You have a separate group, Garwejwal, and but it's very complicated here because I don't know how the government of national unity is going to accommodate this group. Because
listen, Billy, let me answer this question. Riek Machar is under Salva Kiir. The forces of IO have now declared their allegiance and their support to General Garwejwal. Riek has 150, I said it before. Those are their in-laws and relative of Riek Machar that are immediate bodyguard. 150.
But who are these one fighting the forces of Magenis, around Magenis?
Those forces.
Are the forces of Dr. Riek Machar?
From the very beginning, Riek had 600 forces with 5 artillery units. I mean, 5 tanks, not 5 tanks. They have, I think, BM, 2 BM, with 600 soldiers. All these 3, attack they had, 400 of them defect to General Garway. First, he had 600 from his own, bodyguard. As we speak, Riek has 150 soldiers. Those are the only bodyguard that he has left. Riek is in the hand of Salva Kiir, so it will be up to Salva Kiir to accommodate him as, make him his advisor. He does not have a force. He's not commanding any military. It's just Riek himself. So there are people that are working 24 hours to make sure that the topic that you and I were discussing, probably before the end of October, there will be a good result. How the peace will be addressed. It will. Riek is no longer an IO leader. He's a citizen of South Sudan and will be retired. He will sit in Juba as ordinary citizen. He will be MP of Ler. That's it. He's not going to have a title of, by president. And it will happen soon.
Comrade Peter, I agree with you. When it comes to political popularity, I believe he has actually lost a big margin of, political constituencies. However, I don't think Dr. Riek Machar is already taking a retirement. That's why he give all the position to immediate family members. That is the mistake he made. And I agree with you. And that is where SPLA-IO came into disintegration. Otherwise, if he wouldn't have actually appointed his immediate family members into those key positions, I don't think we would have any political crisis of this kind. So this idea of actually making security arrangement as a political accuse or a scapegoat doesn't resonate with me as an individual. But I think it is being used for political ploy or political scapegoat to make it look as if it is something that is legitimate demand. But that's not the case. The case is about the position being given to the family members. And that was a calculation made by Dr. Riek Machar because that is a political retirement.
Yes.
He just wants to retire. And he just want to earn something so that his family can actually retire for good.
I mean, for those of you that are listening, and let me give you the good news for all of us. President Kiir has accepted secure arrangement that has, will be implemented fully. He accepted. He does not want people of South Sudan to go to war. Riek Dagdong will go to retirement, also something that President Kiir has accepted. So it's just a matter of finishing details with Stryker. We will hear that Riek Dagdong is our former vice president. General Olony and General Garwich and General Mabur will be in Juba. We will implement peace agreement, and within 2 years and a half, we will have election. It will be up to us as people of South Sudan to choose a leader, and that's why I support General Garwich. Will he have options? Peace instead of war. One of the things Riek cannot be taught. Let me tell you this. One of the reasons the government of South Sudan did not implement security arrangement is not because they didn't want peace, but because they didn't want Riek. Because Riek cannot be trusted. If you have all these IO forces, amalgamated South Sudan armed forces under the leadership of Riek Machar, you don't even know what he's going to do. Because Riek does things that he does not even calculate how the result will be. So the government of South Sudan really afraid that if you give him the huge forces, he might go and try to take over the country before election, because the guy writes the things better up. So, because if you have him have a force like 3,000 in Juba, He might try to go and arrest Sulfur, as he did in 2013. Because he's a different kind. His world is totally different. So the government of South Sudan right now agree with General Garwedwal. Secure arrangement.
Comrade Peter, you need to answer that question. How do you intend, or how does the McGinnis camp or McGinnis faction under Garwedwal intend to remove Dr. Riek Machar in case they are going to come to you? That is hypothetically not clear how you intend to do that, because it appears Dr. Riek Machar has already invaded into this position, and it is very hard for the government of national unity, to remove him from that key position. Otherwise, it's like the peace agreement has to be, roll over again and start from the scratch.
That's why I say let's wait until October. There's a lot of detail. The work has already begun, and then more detail will come out, and everybody will be very delighted to hear that.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we should end the program, and we might want to continue it maybe tomorrow. And the reason why I asked you so many questions is because I believe you are kind like person who is an insider of what is going on in McGinnis camp. And so we are looking forward to see you as another special guest in the next show. So let's wait for a few days, and we will see. We might receive more news.
Yeah, $, let us give each other 1 minute. Yeah, Jama. Let us give.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you.
Yeah, let me add one quickly. One on the topic last question you asked. The removal of, I think it's from the audience. They're asking this question, and I think the removal of Riek Machar will come as a condition of the dissolution of the government right now. Because, I think this peace agreement that will be agreed by integrating the troop, and it will force the IGAD, which is the mediator, and the people of South Sudan to resolve the government. So there will be the dissolution of the current government, and the new government will be formed. So I think that will where the removal of Riek Machar will come in. As you have seen, sometimes even when the IO have been coming in and going out, there was a dissolution, and you see most of like people like Waniga now, they are not in their current position. So Riek came as a vice president. First, Aban was the first vice president, and Wani become maybe the second or maybe just the vice president. And other people come in. So I think it will be an arrangement of the government, of the new government, due to the condition that will be posed by the new agreement or the new modality of the agreement. So I think that is where the removal of Riek Machar will come in. If Salva or whoever is the president wanted to reappoint him as a vice president, regardless of whether he has people or not, then I think that will be another question. If they wanted to remove him and let him be like what General Peter said, that he's going to be in parliament and represent his constituency, that is also another option. It can, because it is and the position will go to another person. So I think that is where the removal will come in, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Kira, your 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I would like to apologize. I quit it abruptly before because of other obstacles behind me. I have to apologize about that. Yeah, I thank you, presenters, the contributors who are our guests. I will comment on two things. One, I'm so amazed by the speech of or the positions of my brother and colleague. He's not my colleague, but in the general sense, Peter Bellew. We are desperate for peace as South Sudanese citizens. It's so encouraging if General Garwedwal is for peace, then peace is the only option. I know nobody
sincere uncle, and we believe in
nobody, no general, no general, or there's no a door for a military success of a South Sudan problem. Yes, we know there are so many experienced generals, but fighting is not a solution. If that is in the principles of Kit Gwang, then they have to come for peace. Again, here, There's been a question of that has been going on that Dr. Riek Machar might be removed from his positions and the Kidguang group may take over. By the way, it depends on Troika and other peace partners in the regions and the international community. If they recommend that Dr. Machar is to be taken out of the position, yes, government of South Sudan, no problem. The ordinary citizen have no question. But what I've seen as a South Sudanese and somebody who has been along all South Sudanese politics and the regional politics, what I've seen, and I would like to share it together, there has been no point where Dr. Machar will, his position will be dissolved and chased home. No, it will give an unnecessary example in the region. What I've seen as somebody who has experience in politics around South Sudan and Sudan as well, this will be the solution. I'm sure the position that are given to the IO of Dr. Machar now in Cuba, they will calculate the percentage that will be given to Kidguang and the percentage that will remain with the Riek Machar. In that approach is what I've seen and what I argue that will be the responsible position to be taken by the region. Because, you know, when you dispose somebody, you will not dispose somebody to zero level. Like we know Torit and Nasser history. Torit survived, Nasser survived. Nobody chased whoever away. Now Kidguang is there. Juba or Riek Machar is there. If Riek Machar remain with the two forces, but with a sense of being the chairman of IO of his group, he will remain there. What I believe it is, IGAD or whoever will sit down, calculate the percentage that will be given to Riek Machar with his groups, and the other percentage to Kidguang group in terms of members of parliament and other commissions, in terms of the government, the ministerial positions, in terms of the army generals, and he will be given his chair as well as Garigan. This is what I've seen, and I think it will be the reasonable position that will be taken. If Riek is disarmed from his position as a vice president and lost all the ministerial positions to the members of parliament, and 5 of them are too many. He's with his groups. They are too many. They cannot complain, and all in all, that will not be materialized. I believe the region will divide the position between Riek group and Garigal group. This is what I've seen, and this is my position. And that is a sustainable and resilient position that will stop other problems in our country. Otherwise, I end here, and I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Peter. 1 minute, and then come to Dollar again, and then Bilaluk, you will follow it.
Bilaluk, did you get an text from me?
Bilaluk, you mute yourself.
Yeah. No, I didn't check my messenger yet. I will check it. I will check it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Well, just keep it to yourself. Let me thank our brother who just spoke up to me. We South Sudanese, nobody want war. There is no benefit from people fighting and killing each other. If you been following me on social media, I have been against war from day one, because I don't see any reason why we fight each other. The way that I see what brought the war we had in 2013 was the failure of one person whom we trust. We thought he's an educated person, and we give everything to him, and he failed to deliver. Then turned around and incited violence, saying that we are, this and this tribe was creating things that were not there, incited violence, creating tribal division. And we have seen the result. The people whom he accused, he's worse than them. And we can see the result of how he set up his government. Had we elected him as the president, that's how he's going to run the country, by making sure that whoever is going to go to the high position has to be somebody, members of his family. It doesn't work like that. I don't even think Salva Kiir has brought members of his family to all those top positions. I'm so glad that General Garwedwell is able to rejuvenate the SPLMIO that has totally failed by Riek Machar leadership. I disagree with what our brother said, the position will be divided. Yes, if you cannot compare another faction with the Tory faction because you're dealing with two different factions that command forces. Riek had force and Dr. Garang had force. But right now, you have only one side. Here is the issue. The reality is here, the politicians of IO are still with Riek Machar, and then the army are with Garwedwell. So this is a very complicated that need to be looked. So how do you going to divide this position? Where you have one side control the army, one side controlling politicians, educated people from the side of IO. That's the point that people need to really look at seriously. But based on what I know, there is no division of position of IO. IO will still be under one person. And the person who then our coronavirus, you got country, and the rest of peace partner had decided this person is not worthy to be a part of the feast, you see, because of all the things that he had created. You can, that's exactly what I know is going on. Probably by next month we will have a good result how things will flow. If it's magic, because he's known to have a lot of sidekick that protect him, if he plays some tricks, but he might, still be a vice president. But I'm not sure he's not going to be a vice president, because if you don't have forces that you command, why would you get that position? You see, he might be given one position, a minister, whether he give it to his wife or to himself. That's the only thing that I can add. The position of Kit Gwang is clear. Position is Kit Gwang is clear. The leadership of Kit Gwang do not even want to fight with the government, do not want to fight with anybody else. Even the issue of land, as Padang had some concern. I can assure you, Kit Gwang have no agenda, anything related to the land issue. I think some of the dispute land we have could have been solved locally by our judicial system. That's how in any country when there is a dispute of land, dispute of something, you have to go to court. This is exactly how the leadership of Kit Gwang look at. So regardless of position that you have heard Olony said before, that is not his position right now under the leadership of Kit Gwang. The issue and the land issue will be addressed through court process. We know who lived there before who. It's not the agenda right now of Kit Gwang. The agenda of Kit Gwang to implement fees, to amalgamate the forces, train South Sudanese armed forces that will not target civilians. That is exactly what General Garwedwell want to do. And based on what I heard, President Kiir also accept that. If he accept that, we are on the right track. You're not going to see a war again in South Sudan. Let's pray, because everything ends to President Kiir Mayardit. If President Kiir Mayardit want to stop war and want and implement that secure arrangement, then we have no war. South Sudan will be peaceful. We will all be happy. So that's the only thing that let's pray that President Kiir at this time he will implement secure arrangement. But there will be serious consequences if he's not going to implement it, because he's not going to be fighting Iowa Post at this time. So there are things that I will not say it publicly. There are people working 24 hours now to make sure that this secure arrangement is done. And they have already contacted President Kiir, and he's aware. See, those are non-South Sudanese that are working, want to make sure that let security arrangement be done. So that's the only thing that I can have.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Comrade Peter Blue, one of the SPLA revolutionary veterans. We appreciate your contribution all the time. You are always for peace and stability of South Sudan. That has been a very consistent position that you have demonstrated to South Sudanese through social media advocacy. So we are aware of your sincerity, honesty, and the sense of integrity that you demonstrate to South Sudanese. This is how I came to know you. So continue that spirit, and I believe in you, and I'm confident you can also be trusted should you actually get the opportunity to be there, as you actually appear to be supporting the group of Gerald Garwidwal. He's a great uncle, and he's always very sincere too in the way he presents himself. And I can trust him too, because he doesn't have a political motive at all. He's just there to look for a critical solution to any of this conflict going on in our country. However, as Jiang Fadang constituencies or political bloc of Jiang Fadang, our concern why we don't feel comfortable with Gerald Garwidwal is because he aligned himself with Gerald Johnson. That's where the problem is. And I believe you understand it very clearly, Peter, that you just give us an assurance that the position of Jiang Fadang has been very clear with our neighbors, that if we have any problem, whether it is something to do with a territorial dispute, anything to do with cattle rustling, ethnic killing, or whatever that is, you know, the best thing is to sit down and then we have to face each other and discuss and resolve our conflict. That is how we can get along. And that is the reason why you see the region of Greater Upper Nile is not getting along. But if you look at the Greater Equatoria, Greater Barkadal, their tribe, the regional tribe get along. But the question is always being asked, why is Greater Upper Nile as a region not getting along? It's because of this mistrust that is brought about by one man, Dr. Riek Machar. And this all started in 91. And it continued to repeat itself. This is why you see the other tribe, particularly the Jiang in Upper Nile State, is always anti-rebellion created by Dr. Riek Machar. Because, you know, the civil population still hold that anonymity or kind of political animosity against Dr. Riek Machar as a result of the consequences they have, you know, bear during those crises. So we have no bad intention against our neighbors at all. Only if we have to be sincere to one another. That is why you see Jiang Fadang do not want to attack Chiluk, despite the fact that they have that advantage to do whatever they want. But that's not the case. This is what we have been calling upon our neighbors, that if we have any differences, please come to the table. Let's solve it amicably. If this is very complicated, we can use the rule of law, and that is to use the legal litigation to resolve any issue that is under dispute. That is exactly our position. So the reason why we are not comfortable with Gerald Garwidwal group is because of his military coalition or alliance with Gerald Johnson. So if there is that assurance, then I think we are for peace. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This analysis was all about military coalition or alliance by the McGinn inspection. And their demand is very clear. Security arrangement is the only condition being given. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to see you once again if we bring this to your attention. Hello? Okay. I think Daniel is gone. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think the show has come to an end. We can stop here and let's continue to watch the development on the ground, and then I will schedule another show when there is a new development coming up. Thank you very much for your contribution, Dol Argin and Kira Agur and Peter Bellew. Thank you very much, everyone. I think we can end it there.
All right, good night. In Jimo, the pay in Bankira, brother. In April. In Jam Tong Jing.
Ana Jing.
In Jing to know.
Ana Jing Padang.
Iran Padang.
Era don't jong lay that. Era jong lay man.
Era jong lay.
Era don't jong lay too.
Era Natar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Padang or Fiji.
Yeah, Fiji, you are very close to me. We're neighbor in Ak.
Era don't know.
Yeah, not low.
Oh, low.
Yeah.
Low Nirol. Well, low Urur.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Nirol.
Yindina Kurmiyom wala taw tilat lwaj.
Na Kurmayom.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. Nice to meet you.
In Kurmayom, huh?
Yeah, I know Kurmiyom.
Era America or era Canada?
And Australia.
Oh, it's Australia. Okay.
Australia.
All right, I just sent you a request now, so I'll call you. I just send you a friend request.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Formally, the Twitter Blue, I'm going to sleep right away because I have to work tomorrow. Bankira Agor, Obujoba Yok, who in two late contribution, Piateloi, maybe your Buchodang, book your by schedule, who we give for down and Kekalo Redicane, Johnson Ulun, a copy Ben, Piran Maru Kumo. But to all of them over the Kurut, Koi Jim for down, quite die, quite Ben Bellaway. Whether a year Johnson Ulun, a Kate on Chico on Chicago 2015 in Ben Yogi. Position that can way when you go in the taxing Koi Jim for down, Kayunte, the new Michelin. In Kekadan, a focus. I check out my neck, I each in Mantation in Kiragware. Our interest is not to involve in the affairs of the IO. But the fact that he ain't around Chirulan get threat to us, who can coalition a lower form, he get quite Kane a command around Chicken Ritual Gofka, who quite can ruin support. It isn't why I'm going away at the fort back order and Syria because the Rikachon Maru Kuma, who Nachon Maru Kuma, I would think watching big threat when quite bad loyal. Grume would think a grumun, but I'm a one more when I took a week. So, kwa Iran, kudekun jamani, kadundu, a shilling in a nyego. Kwa yen get your ting jing for down, will lay in a Johnson Lane. And Yago ting in, go up down, go che Junubin. You know, you learn take them a current cock, a big Kuma bear dome, who big there, Daman big bear, con bear go, ama. Big road bear, quam, chan, meanwhile, Chitong Tong, Rugo, and Thok, Tang a sheep bell of a talk, when a yin can a chwat. Qua Kakala big road bear, quam, who big dang pay, big bear low, you man want, yen quite condom, con him along our one dome, down one town, get your chief of staff, when a yiki. Who con will a yen, and we can a weekend. We and Lama Liedic, but a Thor or Kayun say, you got. They don't get a well number. Check them and get who be fellow manager and why in Padang, don't position to do go loaking yet. Dying, we can be there too because of two. Why, you call you 10, the word in Mukuan Market.
And got big opinion. In Billy, Kato in Billy, Kato, Copadang. Let's say work to go 3 parties. Ugo padang, ukto padang, kujinu sudanato, kuchulu ke party ato. Wo padang, our position is very clear. Olony is our enemy. He is our enemy, and is fighting to take our land. Ekni kukane, kwa ngicha chukula kwa chiko inpi. Koko jolo mane, you know sometime ti wo mane. Could be Kokolo Maneke, a channel, open armor, or when no man cook a by Rio, we jump too much, walk to buy. Can they know about real walk? Kingiku, Angiku, Kuba Poldaman, Kube Kumim.
Correct, Jim Quallen and take out the yak, and he's coming to get more weapon. I think
Kabulu Kopadang, Akuma, Angikam the Coling. bi ko trouser di e ka den kana wo ko pa dang wo lo nyangi ko chu be ku wo lo nyangi ko before bi wo lo nyangi ko before ke ken kai we da spele tai wo lo nyangi ko e ko bu go lo mana wo lo ile ku bi ku le bi la ka kuma ku bi ko mat ka kuma la bi la mat ka kuma e ka den kana wo o ko jira ene o bu ka da jongi o bu ka da ngi bu redi ran ko diam nim kran ku le kran ngi ke de pial ye da oben chap dam bi chop de chop kwa ngi ku ade chop wala chi bi chop ngi ku ke ni je ene wulo ni ku ran ben ken kleba o pa da nga yes ke da ngi ku na bu ngi yen ran bi jam gale wulo ni chi ko ne be nyogo ke de kana lekin wo abu ngi yen ran ke ben lo ku dai ku bi lo mi akla wulo ubla ru chi bi lo mashallah ken ko to ka kana
but in kira gor position of the government ta Junu Sudan ke into den ko ben do by the kulu Junu Sudan but like nu ke to under pressure by other factors ko te ke force but then go ben lo jiman wan ko ki wen ke ma longa wan da man in ke wan ben ko ben lo ka sarat ku jodden go den wan ben ka bayr yo ku muy ko you see ake jo pia dele pia in padang dun go lu rely too much position big government no yin na ko be ping tok because in ngi intelligent because in get are we yin en jontor lo in ngi share den ti in ngi kelom chulu kingdom akol ko ko e kene ako bi ki diel ngi jinu loton kene a yoga ci lo len pi 2050 ko nan ko ngor ko taw tin man yemo ko you see a yoga kene ke clear a chan ke yoren we ne ni jontor lo ke kam den ke ko fada kene ko ma ran ci jonton kanam ci ta wi balka ci man tay jemene da mané ke go ti ko le ngaka man ran ci da wi dal go ko ko jolo we ne ran cha da ga dundi ci man ga dundi ma ki ci da dundi ye jere de
right
so na lekam ki ken get yam no wulen so politics is very complex na ran chen ko ran ko nam ka ci ki le bin lo in le bin we you see
of course
why even man tin ko be ron maru kuma ke lakta den ko ben lo inu ke ban pa bi jen bia ka bi to ko jen ya ben padang ma lok to right ba den ku je few of them je ka ben jap ko ko ke le ke je ku je ka le no wan pio chen je dom je tai fin ti looking dom chan na chi wi bi jen ke ne bla lo yu tu junu bin ko etong den ko bi jon karang garu dal bi lo tor den fay wala ko a chi wi e lazim bi adam den bas mi ci la den fada kwa yen le ko gungor ko jam
in Billy en ka long to me ke to in Billy
mare ko duti
wo ko padang ke mikela now bi yo chit ke lwel gop lekin ke ene to ye woktin now je zin ko ya ko big imadi ku jem ku big jam ku bi tin ki man bi wulen kene wulen ko la ben ki condition ngo bi ke gam tan wulen ki condition bo affected ke legi di no kana chu ko in condition chu be affected kala twen kran kala twen kayen ke kana e kene zin ko big mat ko big lotin ki ti jem ki ko wulen ko bi ki ti that wulen ki jam hin kana condition bak bi ke game ne kabo affected ko padang ke bingi ke ka chu be affected ke bingi jadi kene ne kene lo ke zin ko lakin work zin ko an ci tok bu jowe tan lakin
chin confident de
ke kene mi kala kana e ka lu ko be ko loy ko yin Billy on to school literature educational deep meaning and surface meaning
correct
and we also have what is called critical analysis there's kone moktine that was your own critical analysis lekin I can ko kongni yes wolon ade ke de ting ke dak pyo kam de ke garidwal yes you understand it you critically analyze it but I cannot pay in analyze whereby if you present it can pay a cheaper take it easily because I can challenge can you talk again Kaini ja.
When ke o media lo use chanen media ke bo ko ben jigni my ideas, the critical thinking on to when analysis and no ko when a bira an bi jala sie janu mo pointi na de warun chin bonna mo la ka tak ka betinge jam the media kan ke amana da advocacy they say but that to ten that they quite will there some people taking advantage of it there are ben man ko ran chen de kan lekina ran pay attention to detail ngo where I don't focus they can at the LD ku position na in ban ki agwar is very clear ko jeng pada ko ki ga jeren ko man ni ki gen man from day one gol ga mashakal lu gen clear again jeng pada chu ro kon jot de ko chok tong jot ku juru ke je nyu go ko ka do
right
ache real li go ni tong kan ni ko go thoro di ku ke ne ki ko kon jot e won ni ke ne no go le yen jonton lo ngo ko man de ke no kwendang ku yo go nyom ni ku ka ngi padang e thodi ake ye ku le jing dai wala yin junu Sudan dai ke ku le lu la o padang ku le yen den mi chila taw kam na o chulu e ge le de pin nen chu jot lo ku ma ka me that is nga our position ne kan wada e kala kweno o ge jazi no ke ko je rum ka kranen nga chu pe kranen nga chu ke ru ke ga nun na ku cha wadong lakini ngeran wi to e ken ke jo bana last resort always tong ne tan tawn ga pin na ben diplomacy must always be applied by you to launching any war so ken ga yo ke clear ko chu ka le yo ka dai ban James Kwal ma yar ka yo da manda jito ku yena mbiri ya we la lo ku pin dai di dere jokron ban ki
thank you Billy thank you so much right
Yen chamo the brother Rashid Dow in the call you over to win. Queen die, Queen Pink, Queen Gut, well Quanaga got it, well unte Mechajain, choking lady. Ban James Qualamayar in Jamare, Media, good no chain betting a caller, cock with your bang for York next time. I apologize for not inviting you, but I think you just came late. Otherwise, you should be in the studio or if they win and be in Chol Messenger, I would have called you. Unfortunately, I have run out of time because I have been sitting here for almost 3 hours. So I would rather call it a night because I have to go to work in very few hours, about 4 hours or 5 hours. So I have to sleep a little bit, very away. I'm going to look after my money. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This was all about evaluation or analysis of interview of Gerald Johnson, and you have heard from the respective panelists that contribute to this program. They have analyzed it comprehensively and to the detail, in depth, and we are looking forward to see if there are going to be more development on the ground about this interview presented by Gerald Johnson. And we will see what we're going to do next, or if we will have another show. So I believe there will be more development coming up very soon, following the interview of Gerald Johnson. So thank you very much. Have a good night. We quite Africa ka yo fa juna iru we chuka mo ka college ya fan de Australia. Again, thank you. Have a good night. I wouldn't even play music.